Hello and welcome to the Old Man Orange podcast. I'm Spencer Scott Holmes.
And I'm Ryan Dunigan.
I was reading this article the other day. It was talking about sort of like the history of Let's Play videos.
Uh-huh.
And it's like one of the ones like, I still always kind of look at those. Whenever I see a Let's Play video, I go like, we fucking did that so before everybody else. We were so ahead of the time. But we did it before YouTube, so there was no real place to put it. So you just show it to your friends and family, and they just kind of go, that's nice, Jimmy. I'm glad that, did something else with those video games.
Yeah, I think everybody kind of had some form of Let's Play, because you would, when you were a kid, you would do, like, make the character say stupid things and then take turns. Like, I remember that, like, there was actually one time in GoldenEye, we went into the in GoldenEye, you go into the bathroom stalls, and we played this game where you have to shoot the other guy in the head and try and, like, make sure he lands on the toilet just perfectly, like that kind of shit. Like, that seems like perfect Let's Play material for, like, this day and
Well,
age.
I know, it's like, I think about that, just like, and I'm like, the main thing I always think, too, is I go, like, when we made those videos, I'm like, when it came time when YouTube was out, it was like, well, those aren't good enough for YouTube. That was, like, the first thing I thought. It was like, well, there was a time for that, but, like, let's focus on serious movies now, or, something a little bit more professional.
Kind of comes like in waves.
And now it comes out, it's like, oh, it's, like, the biggest thing.
Yeah.
And I thought, too, I'm like, we did such a better job of a Let's Play video, too. Because we had fucking skits in there, we threw in some live action to mix it up, there was music.
Well, you're talking about, I think what you were making was, you're enjoying making a documentary.
Ours was like Saturday Night Live Let's Play. That's really what it was.
Well, you're talking about Zelda Files and Mario Files.
Yeah.
Right? Well, I think generally, I don't know if you can consider those so much Let's Plays as much as like comedic documentaries. Not mockumentaries, but comedic.
Well, I mean, I guess in a sense, what it is by a Let's Play is that there's a lot of video game footage and people talking over it.
Yeah, I mean, because you guys be talking, just be having like miscellaneous random footage, and then like, oh yeah, remember this game, remember this? You might say a few funny jokes, but generally you're just playing the game, where most Let's Play footage, it almost sounds like a podcast.
Yeah,
where
well,
it's
that's what they've evolved into. But still, I always look at that and go like, fuck, I had the ball on that at some point. We fucking made Mario Files. We came to a point, like, we did Zelda Files, we did Mario Files, and then we're like, it was just one of those ones, like, they just felt like, well, we don't fucking own these games. You know what I mean? Like, we should be writing our own scripts and shit. Like,
let's go to Drunk Batman, because we own that.
Yeah. Well, at least that's like, I remember at the time, though, it just kind of felt like, it's like, though this is cool and funny, it isn't necessarily like, it didn't feel like there was like a market for it yet.
Plus, there's the whole setup we do, which was like, I mean, you and Cisco made the Zelda Files, and then I jumped in. We never finished Mario Files, but it was you and me for Mario Files.
I think we have all the footage. We just didn't really like totally put it all together at the end.
And then like, now we'd have to do like probably catch up like on 8 years of Mario or something like that to like catch up with the
because I think the end of like Mario Sunshine or something like that was the last.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, had to be Mario Sunshine. Had to be Mario.
Yeah, that had at least be the last big one. Maybe New Super Mario Brothers or something. No, I think that even came out yet. Either.
I think maybe unless we were hunched over. Like
once again,
DS.
this was definitely pre-YouTube, so it had to be before 2006.
Yeah. I think it was like 2005. It was still high school, is what it was. Yeah, so it had to be like Mario Sunshine, I believe. But I remember it was just also just so fucking weird because I remember you told me when you guys first made Zelda Files, you're gonna make it serious, and then as it went on, it just got sillier and sillier.
Yeah.
And ours at some point, like, it was so much in bad taste, but it was like, oh, Ryan had to leave. Here's his retarded cousin. I'm like I have like this stupid look in my head. I wear like a purple like a purple like bike helmet going "Durr!" the whole time.
Yeah,
it's in very poor taste, but you're in high school, whatever.
Well, it was still. I think this was based sort of off that like Saturday Night Live style humor. Like
it was.
Because Saturday Night Live was once when I was a kid, I found it much funnier. When I get older, it's like it's not. There's still good jokes in there, nothing against it, but I don't find it nearly as funny the older I get.
I haven't watched a full episode of Saturday Night Live since high school. Not that I have any problem with it, I just don't really watch a whole lot of TV anymore. And somebody says, like, oh, you gotta check out this new Andy Samberg sketch or whatever, I'll go look it up on YouTube or something. But generally, I don't really watch Saturday Night Live anymore.
Still watching it, I guess.
Well, I mean, like, I've watched a full episode.
Yeah. Well, it's like I the modern ones I kind of stick away from because it reminds me of this, like, sort of like the NBC humor, and it's just like, it reminds kind of like the yuppie humor, where like the old Saturday Night Lives kind of felt like, did you just get home from like the bar and you need to watch something before you go to bed that's funny and got Neil Young playing in it too?
They did have a bunch of like coked out kind of like misfits for like the first couple seasons.
Well,
that's what was cool about it.
Yeah, that was like the kind of cool part, And then there's always, you always had a rock band or something play in there too. Which when you watch them on TV now, they like mostly cut out all the songs except for one.
It's like Jefferson Starship or something like that.
Well, there was one that was on TV the other day where like me and my dad were eating lunch and had Neil Young on it and whatnot.
Really? What was he playing?
I'm
guessing, is it 70s or 80s?
He played one song because it was the edited down versions. And it had to be, I want to say it was like 1985 or something like that.
1985.
86.
So
maybe a little bit later than that. It had John Goodman on it. He was the host.
Oh, okay. Could have been one of those things like where he was, because I recently just got this big Neil Young coffee table book, which goes over all of his songs. I think it's pretty up to date. I think, or it might end on Lanois, but I want to say, was it his weird like techno stuff that he tried in the mid-80s?
It was regular Neil Young stuff.
Okay, the good old.
I can't remember what song it was off the top of my head, but it was just acoustic guitars, harmonica.
It could have been some 80s Crazy Horse, because I know there was a point where he'd be jumping back and forth from like the Neil Young that you know to raw country, then to like
experimental.
Techno. Yeah, like there's one where it's so weird looking. He has like these weird kind of like, I think they're like, there's the guy there's in Next Generation Star Trek, there's the black dude that has the visor. He was wearing something like that. He had long, like, ratty gray hair. He had what looked like a Nintendo Power Glove on, and he's pulling wires, and it had like this weird like 300 filter to it. It's like, what the fuck is this?
I think Neil Young at some point he just goes like, I gotta be up to date with the kids now.
I think he does. I mean,
he's like, my generation's dying off. I need new blood.
He always comes back around to his original audience. But he always does go like, let's see what's happening. Let's see what's happening.
Probably gets a mail that says like, we're not dead yet, you fuck. I'm the same age as you. In fact, you're older than me.
I'm Neil Young. I'll never die. Yeah. No, I think what was his last album that I had? I think his newest album. Newest album was, I think it's Psychedelic Pill. Yeah, that's his newest album that I can think of. Crazy.
That's where we hip with the kids.
Psychedelic. It really is kind of like your traditional Neil Young, and there's always one or two of those songs. It's like a 2-disc album. It only has like 8 songs on it, but 2 of the songs on there are like those 15-minute versions where he's just playing 3 chords for a little while. I mean, I still like that, but I am kind of like, trim it down a little.
Like, down.
Yeah.
Down. And it just goes on like that forever.
Yeah, or it's like, like Down at the River, which is a great song.
It's got like 8 minutes of just like music in it.
Yeah, or like Cowgirl. I think Cowgirl in the Sand is one of those ones that goes on for, those two kind of run together. I like them both a lot, but Cowgirl in the Sand is one of those songs. There's one called like, He Loves Her So. Like that's the main chorus of the song. And it just really sounds kind of like, oh yeah, a couple people like in their like late 40s, early 50s, kind of. That's really what the song sounds like. Just kind of like living their life, coming home from work, going to dinner with some friends, and then 8 minutes of just like 3 chords.
Because our life only has so much story to it.
Yeah, pretty much. So.
I like how there's a transition from like video games to Neil Young somehow, some way.
Yeah, I think we always come back around to Neil Young or Bruce Springsteen or Rolling Stones somehow. But no, but
at the Let's Play, I just felt like it's like boy, we put a lot of effort into it. Because sometimes whenever I see things on the internet, there's a lot of videos, whether they be good or not, though, you kind of always go like, man, somebody really didn't like put that much effort into it. I always feel like I put so much more in.
Before Let's Plays were really even a thing. I mean, I guess they've been a thing since probably YouTube or the internet was. I guess you could almost kind of even
in this article I read, that's like there's a guy that they credit as like, I can't remember his name is, but they say in 2007 this is the guy that coined the phrase of Let's Play. Like that was the first video that had that in their title.
So I guess like the Mark.
So I can't say the Let's Play thing because I didn't put that in there. I call it Zelda Files, and we called the other one Mario Files.
I guess you credit this guy as the Mark Maron or Adam Carolla of Let's Plays.
So sometimes I always go like, maybe I should just fucking put that video up there just to prove a point. And it'd be like, well, yeah, but you put it up in 2013. Yeah, but you could tell that I'm fucking younger in it.
I'd just be depressed. I don't really even watch my old high school, like... I mean, well, I think there is a point when you first make it, even high school, you watch it over, you want to show people, you're so proud of it.
You show your parents, and then you notice they're not laughing on the cues.
Yeah, exactly. Well, like, the guy got shot in the balls. Why aren't you guys laughing?
Like, that was really popular with the high school crowd.
I put in the miscellaneous...
There was a fucking uproar in there. Everyone laughed.
I put in a miscellaneous fart noise when nothing else is going on to keep the comedic pace going that has nothing to do with the story. Why aren't you guys laughing at that?
Aren't you impressed? I fucking used the iMovie laser effect.
I used the lightning bolt. The lightning bolt that comes across.
The lightning bolt. That was
it. It made it look so like authentic. Like you must know your ship. But it's just like no, just drag and pull this thing wherever you want. But the Let's Play thing though, it's one of those things. I mean, it's been around for a while, I guess. But I can think back to like. I mean, there's still some Let's Plays there. I mean, I don't really watch Let's Plays. Once in a while, because I like Rage Select. And I mainly listen to their podcast. But
I thought that was a podcast.
It's a podcast, but they also do a lot of Let's Play videos. That's the main thing they do. And what I'll do is, sometimes, I mean, if I like the people enough, I'll just put on the Let's Play video in the background and work on something, because I can listen to it. I don't think it's not always so much a visually funny thing. You could almost
yeah, because I remember the first time I looked at some of these Let's Plays, I'm like, because I guess for me it was like, well, my video, like, all the talking had something to do with the game. These guys are talking about nothing.
Yeah, so I could almost just put on, like, listen to this funny conversation. And there's some, like, people, I think the hardest thing to do, because a friend of mine has a Let's Play channel, and I tried watching it. It's just him talking through the game.
Is it a single person talking?
It's a single person talking.
Those are fucking weird. They seem like lonely, too.
That's got to be a hard thing to do right there, so.
Unless you're doing, like a walkthrough or something like that. I don't know how, like, just a single person does it, you know?
Yeah. So, I don't know.
I guess for me, it's like, the Let's Play, there has to be, like, to me, a reason behind it. Like, I almost feel like if you're just going to be talking about nonsense, why don't you just make it a podcast then instead of a Let's Play? I guess that's an old man talking, though, I feel. Well,
you and me, we tried making, it wasn't a Let's Play, but I guess it was more of an updated version of, it wasn't Zelda Files, it was more like an updated version of that to an extent, and we having trouble with the recording process. I think we kind of found a way around it. So.
Yeah, we figured that out. We just haven't went back and finished it.
That might happen, but thinking back on that though, I think it's more than anything. Okay, here's a game that's pretty popular. It just came out. People want to see it, and then on top of that, the just when you're doing something, I feel like you and me, we have better conversations when we're just playing video games, or not even on microphone. I think some of our best stuff, obviously, is
always once you turn the microphone off, you get great conversation.
Because we're focusing on the conversation. Where if in a Let's Play, you're playing something, your mind's busy, so your mouth just flows, and just that's where the funniest shit comes out.
Well, I will say though, you do have great conversations when you play video games because you're focused on your brain's kind of focused on something else. In school, I used to always play like my 3DS, or not 3DS, my DS, or my PSP. A lot of times, or even old Game Boy. And somehow, some way, like, if I was playing a video game, I could hear the teacher talk, and I could, like, remember all the stuff he said. And I actually stayed way more focused by playing a video game and listening to the teacher. Because if I wasn't playing a game, you just start sitting there and you're kind of doing that, like, oh, look outside. Oh, look at there's a deer outside. Oh, he's gone. Oh, leaves are going by. Oh, how about that? Well, what's over here? Oh, a bookshelf. I wonder what he's got in there. I'm going to read every title on there. And you stop paying attention because you're just not focused. You're just like drifting through space.
Every so often you'll see kind of like it like.
Ooh, it's getting cloudy out. Getting cloudy.
Exactly. Or you see, yeah, you'd see like a poster in school of just kind of like Spider-Man hanging upside down, like, hey
like,
kids,
read, bitch.
Yeah, read, bitch. It's cool. You get smart and shit. You know. I can imagine one of you just like holding up your like 3DS, like, don't read, play video games.
Play games. Right, focus more. Yeah. Focus.
Just you smiling, pointing at a 3DS.
Or yeah.
Giving thumbs up, maybe.
But no, it's like I see where like the conversation thing comes from, but I always feel like it's like since it's not a connected thing, it's always so strange.
No, I see what you're saying. I mean, I think we just had some real. I mean, but when we were trying to record the thing, 'cause the thing would stop.
Well, that's a completely different thing, though.
Yeah. Oh, you mean? Oh, you're just talking about in general when your mind is somewhere else, and your mind's somewhere else. Your mind is focused on something, so you can almost take in what's around you rather because you're focused on this one thing.
No, I'm just talking about like more the Let's Play thing. Like the thing we were doing, that wasn't even really a Let's Play. That was more like an old style of.
But it was kind of like because what we were doing, we were breaking down, we were focusing on like different games, and in a certain genre. And then we had sort of the Let's Play over it, which we were just talking about the game and just bullshitting. And all that came out pretty smoothly, and that was pretty funny. But the thing is that it was having trouble like capturing the footage off there because we don't really have like, I mean, sometimes you go to people's houses and their computers all set up to where they're playing like their Xbox right in their computer.
Well, everything's like on one. It's just like the Xbox, the computer, all that stuff's one. Where it's like here, it's like, well, I got a fucking TV. I'm not. I'm not poor. I don't need a share here.
So it's easier to do it on that, but here, so we were trying to like rip it right off the television. We're having a camera hooked up. We were having trouble with that, so it was just one thing after another with that. But yeah.
Yeah, it's just because I'd rather play it off the TV than play it off you can record on the computer, but it's like I want a bigger screen. Come on, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And it's fucking new camera won't work that way.
Yeah.
But
I don't know, we might do it. Come back to it. Might work our way around it, but yeah.
yeah.
But Let's Plays. A lot of the big game companies are trying to stop Let's Plays. They're trying to corner, I guess, the market on Let's Plays, for a better word, because they had the whole thing on Sony and I think even Microsoft. Like, you can create your own Let's Plays right here in like our like little like network and all that, and post them online. And there's even a thing like certain games will let you like game companies will let you they'll pay you to post Let's Plays as long as you're saying nothing disparaging about that game or any of their other games. Which that seems kind of well, what's the point? Really?
Yeah, it kind of defeats the whole point of because Let's Play is just really like the other version of the podcast. It's like radio's not even a thing anymore. That's like that's your dad's fucking like listening to music. So it's like you got your podcast, which is made for like your car and whenever you're in places that you got to focus on something else. Or you got your Let's Play when you're sitting at your computer and you gotta watch somebody else play a video game because you can't do it yourself with your other friends.
I really want to, I mean, it might lose its novelty quickly. I really kind of want the Bruce Springsteen, Neil Young Let's Play. It's like, what the fuck is this? Well, God damn it, Neil, how's this? I don't know. Bruce Springsteen doesn't talk, he has a raspy voice, he doesn't talk that low.
Yeah,
you get the point?
Just some like
I can only do
play.
I can only
You're
do
talking about see the day that celebrity Let's Plays start happening.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I watch it if it was fucking like two old times, like Clint Eastwood or something like that. I'd watch it that. It's kind of like, oh, it's Seth Rogen on a Let's Play, or like some like younger person on a Let's Play. Not well, he's older than us, but some younger-ish celebrity that knows this stuff. I want to see like Clint Eastwood or John Voight, just somebody's like, what the fuck is this? What's going on? You know what I mean?
Well, sometimes on like on Xbox Live or whatnot, they'll have like something. It happens every couple of weeks or something, where they'll be like, "Oh, this celebrity's gonna be playing, this game, Friday. Come on by and fucking play with Weird Al Yankovic or something like that."
Or Scott Weiland.
They have sometimes it's like they're always musicians mostly. But I remember, I think Scott Weiland you could play like Halo with, or you can play Guitar Hero with like Scott Weiland, or I mean not Scott Weiland, but Weird Al Yankovic. And they have a bunch of other kind of celebrity things. It's like, well, that's kind of cool.
You're like on Christian Bale's team. You end up fucking up. He comes to your house like, we are fucking done professionally, mate. We are fucking over. He
like, how does he know where I live?
He like X's you off from his like, his like friends list on like the Xbox Live.
Like he's blocked off my list, and I'm sending in a letter.
Just to get the point across.
I was gonna wonder what happens like if somebody like kicks you off like the Xbox Live network, because I always had like the 5-star ranking. Like I'm a good person here. I do my best
here.
Here in this world, I try to be a civil kind of person here, and I'm not trying to start shit. I mostly turn my microphone off anyways because I'm sick and tired of hearing children.
There's one time, I mean, I don't really play Xbox Live that much, but I was playing Xbox Live at a friend's house one time, and it was Halo 2 days is what it was. And so it had to be in high school.
So this is a real long time ago.
Yeah, I'm just doing the math in my head. That just makes me feel this made me feel a little sad.
Not Halo 4, not Halo Reach.
Yeah, so Halo 2, I remember there was a part where like, and that's almost the thing, if it was anything that killed it for me, it was just fucking shit-talking children. And it was like a part where like, some kid, I fired a missile at some kid. The kid dodged it. He says, "Ha! What now, you fucking bitch?" And I run over and just start bashing him at the fucking
fuck
rocket.
You, child!
I didn't say that, you kid. And then just, beat the fuck out of him, so. Felt pretty good.
Well, that's the only thing, though, is, like, you do kind of have to, there's that sort of thing, too, like, when you're on there, too, as an older person, and you hear, like, these 10-year-old kids on there, probably even, like, less, maybe even, like, 8 years old, and you get this thing, you're like, I'm playing Gears of War. Your parents let you fucking play Gears of War? What is fucking wrong with them?
You go to some kid, like, he's like, all right, I'm a little short, want to be on my team, and all of a sudden the kid's like, this is Chris Hansen. So, why are you asking kids to be part of your team,
But it's just one of those ones, like, okay, I have no
name,
problem.
right?
I have
Chris
no problem
Hansen?
with a kid. Yeah, that guy.
Okay.
I have no problem with, like, a kid playing a mature rated game. That's totally fine. But I think it's fucked up to let that kid play online.
Make it even more mature rated, yeah.
Well, that is just like one of those ones, like, I'm like, no. keep them off there. It's just like there's just places in life I just wish they were like adult only. Like I wish the movie theaters were adult only. I wish the fucking gyms were always sometimes adult only.
Or just make it so the kid has to go like on a
really, I just want to live in that. I want to live in that Grand Theft Auto world where you don't see a single child.
Or it could just be like they're not allowed to leave the house till they're like 16.
Yeah, or 18, 21 maybe, 25 even.
There was actually somebody was suggesting something like make a room just for like, okay, here's a area for just kids to play on Xbox Live. You're between these ages, you can go to this like section where they're talking.
Oh, I see. That wouldn't bother me. If there was just a section where you could have a bunch of like 18 and under kind of things, it's just like it would just make it much better. You know, just keep them out of like the adult world.
Yeah. The thing I think
let us older folks enjoy our games together.
What I almost kind of feel, I almost do feel somewhat like an old man sometimes. Because I mean, I'm not against this digital age. I'm not against like all this internet stuff. Some stuff I think is stupid and it will pass. But other things, I think that it's like so easy for a kid to create a username and just go on and be a little cocksucker to a total stranger and disappear with no consequences.
Exactly.
And I think that's kind of like, I think that's the biggest problem. And there's no real answer to that without divulging.
Well, because I kind of say it's like, well, they're like, well, it's 13 and up on here. I'm like, yeah, but you can pop in any birthday that you want. The kid can say he's born in 1964. It doesn't make a fucking difference.
Exactly.
It's sort of like when you go to like, I know like on Nintendo's website, whenever you go to like a mature rated game, it's like, put in your age. It's just like, well, it's like, why even put that up there? I mean, of course, any kid that wants to see it's not going to put his fucking actual birth date in. Only a moron child would. He's going to be like, oh, yeah, I was born in 1982.
I guess the only way we can start doing that is actually putting your social security number or something. And I don't think we all want to do that.
Put your social security number in to get through here. Show me your papers.
Yeah, exactly. So there is no real answer to it, but I think part of the problem is the digital age is just anybody can hide behind a username and just be a fucking asshole and not really learn the consequences at the end of the day,
Well, that's still kind of like always on an Xbox Live, because a lot of times you hear people's voices and you're just like, God, I just want to punch that guy in the face just because of his voice. I was like, okay, I'm taking flank right here. And he's just like, oh my God, please fucking stop talking.
Alucard 435, cover me, you fucking noob.
I always have my thing turned off because it's like after a while I'm like, it's just not worth it. It is, if you have the right team, it's great because you get this, because you want that kind of interaction. You want to be like, I'm fucking dying, man, come save me, I don't want to die. But you still at the same time, it's just like, nobody fucking, sometimes somebody will come by, they'll be like, oh, okay, this guy needs help, and you can work together as a team, but there is always that thing where it's just kind of like, nobody fucking cares. They just everybody's on their own fucking mission. Like, no wonder we fucking lost.
Like Josh Bullock one time was talking about, like, he was playing Left 4 Dead, and there was like some like guy he was working with who was just running ahead, being an asshole, using up everything, not even talking to him, just running around. And then at some point, like, he's trying to sneak by the witch, and he just says on his microphone, "Thanks for the help." Just fires at the witch, so the witch goes after the guy as he runs by.
Well, I remember I was playing, like, when the remake of Turtles in Time came out on Xbox, and, like, a lot of times, if you're not playing Halo or Gears or something like a popular game, there's almost, like, nobody fucking on the servers. You have to, like, call a friend that has the same game and say, hey, you want to come play this? Well, I was playing that. I think it was me and Cisco were playing it. We were playing online, and there was some guy on there, and it just was the most competitive Ninja Turtles run ever. Because before, you mostly just kind of go like, oh, you need health? You get the pizza pie. Or whatever. Or how about you grab it this time, I'll grab it next time. This guy was fucking going after all of them, so I'm like, fuck that guy. I'm going to get every pizza before this fucker gets it.
You think it would be kind of like, I mean, I don't think the average kids, I mean, unless there's some kind of new Ninja Turtles game coming out, but I don't think the average kid would go play a retro game like Turtles in Time. So
it was a remake, but it's a remake.
It's a remake, yeah. It's a remake.
So most kids probably have no idea that it even is a remake.
Yeah, but I still don't see a lot of kids going and playing that one. I see them playing like, oh, I'm going to go play Gears of War or like fucking...
Mature games.
Mature, yeah. And I know as the older I get, I sometimes kind of go back to more of the softer like games from my childhood. But
well, yeah, sometimes like the older you get, you realize like, I don't always need to be mature. There was a point where I was like, I don't remember the last time I haven't played a game that wasn't mature, And now it's kind of like, yeah, mature, but... It's fine to have your good teen games here and there, and your E-games even.
Every once in a while, yeah. I mean, this is a guy who's, for a while, his favorite franchise was Sonic the Hedgehog, but, I mean, I still got the old games, I still love the old games, but, beyond that, I don't really find myself getting as excited for the M-rated games as much as, I mean, it's for a lot of M-rated games as much as I used to, really.
Well, the only thing is, like, sometimes the
mature... A lot of them run together, kind of.
Yeah, a lot of them just kind of run together, because most of them it's just like, What are you doing? Oh, we're shooting something this time.
We're shooting something. The guy has a stubble. Not a full beard. He has a stubble. Usually has black or dark brown hair.
Yeah, so he's easily to relate with people because, you're not too sure if he's white or if he's black or if he's, like, somewhere in between.
And there's usually, like, in some kind of rundown science fiction town.
Yeah, and it's like a lot of them kind of run together and it's just kind of... But here's something that doesn't fucking run together. Have you seen more on, like, the new Metal Gear Solid 5? There's, like, 2 of them coming out.
There's 2 Metal Gear Solid 5s coming out? I thought it was, like, the same game or something.
There's one... It comes out fucking next month. At the end of the month. And I somehow, some way, this all just kind of came up. I just saw this on a bunch of news articles.
They are pretty secretive at Kojima.
It was, there's Metal Gear Solid 5 Ground Zero. And pretty much what it is, it's more just like... It's sort of like a big demo, if that makes any sense. I mean, it's its own game and its own little story, but it's kind of like... It's supposed to be a short, like, here, test out the gameplay. This is what we're working on for the Phantom Pain. And this is just kind of like a taste of what is here to come. Mm-hmm. It's supposed to be this kind of mission in, like, 1974... After
so Big Boss.
Peace Walker, yeah, Big Boss. Well, Phantom Pain's Big Boss too.
Okay.
I think that one's 1984 for the Phantom Pain. And what this is, it's like you land on this island or whatever, and you have to infiltrate this base. And it just kind of shows like what, because now Snake can drive vehicles. The game's supposed to be an open world game.
Okay.
The Phantom Pain.
I saw something about that.
Have you seen some of the stuff in Phantom Pain? It looks like Red Dead Redemption.
Yeah, I saw some of that. You're in the Middle East, and it looks kind of.
He's in Afghanistan, like.
And Revolver Ocelot was leading you for a little while.
Mm-hmm. So there's all kinds of like. Apparently, it's supposed to be like a handful of different maps too. It's like you go to different places around the world.
Oh wow.
And they're supposed to be big open world things and interaction. Snake can drive cars. I'm like. And it's kind of, at first you kind of hear that and you're like, well, that seems so different from Metal Gear. And then you're like, oh, that actually could totally work, Why not? Sometimes the open world thing's kind of an iffy kind of type of game. It almost feels, because sometimes open world gives that feeling like, though it's cool, it is saying like, this is a way to make the gameplay feel a lot bigger and longer than it needs to be, Every once in a while, it's like, a lot of times I kind of go like, I like my linear games. I like when a game, like, I don't have to make choice. I just kind of do what the game wants. Like, that's its story. I follow it. And just go with it. I
think it could still work because even in like Metal Gear Solid, generally, I mean, it wasn't. I guess you wouldn't call it an open world, but it wasn't level based. It was like, all right, go over here. You were backtracking, kind of like Castlevania-ish or Metroid-ish to an extent.
Yeah.
So I guess open world just seems kind of like the next step for that. I guess.
Yeah. So it's like it makes sense. I think it's cool. And you can go to like different bases and whatnot, and different objectives. And, it seems cool. And driving vehicles, whatever, you always like driving vehicles.
Yeah.
Who doesn't like driving a vehicle? There's just something special about it.
And I saw him on horseback and all that. And
he's on the horse. Mm-hmm. That Ground Zero looks pretty cool. It's supposed to be only like a couple hour long game, and they're going to sell it for like $20 or something like that.
Phantom Pain was one of those, they showed the first trailer for it. They were trying to almost hide that it was Metal Gear Solid.
Well, that was
doing the subliminal stuff.
That was the old trailer, though.
That was the old trailer, and at first they were trying to hide that it was Metal Gear Solid, because it was, you were a big boss, you had a claw for a hand, part of your face is wrapped up, and you're crawling through a whole hospital. Like, is this like some kind of like survival horror game? And there are rumors that there's a flaming guy that kind of comes in down the hallway, and there's rumors that's supposed to be Colonel Volgin from Metal Gear Solid 3.
Yeah, I heard something about that too.
So,
but yeah, the Ground Zero looks kind of cool though. It's just
I'm totally down. It's
it comes out next month. And even though it's a short game, it's like fuck, I'll buy it
for $20. Yeah.
Yeah, for 20. Yeah, and you can get it on 360. You can get it on PS3. You can get it on PS1. You can get it on
PS1.
Xbox One. You can get it on anything. Fuck, you can get it on Genesis. You can get it on Dreamcast. You can get it on Atari. They really want you to test this game out. They don't care where you come from, what's your background, what you own. No, but you can get it on PS4 and Xbox One.
I'd be down to check that out.
And they're not too sure if the Phantom Pain's going to be on 360 or PS3. I'm like, I can't imagine it being on those. Just for the fact, I always feel like the second that a new system comes out, though, there's always those people that are kind of like, well, what do you mean? Like, I put money on this. It's like, fuck you. It's like, the time's over. Once the next one comes out, I always feel like PS4 comes out, PS3 should just end that day. It's just like, that's it. You know what I mean?
It's kind of surprising how long they keep certain games going for the
PS2. They kept that alive for so fucking long.
And I think up until like a year, maybe 2 years ago, they still had PS2 games coming out.
Well, what they did too with the PS2 is it was most of the sports games.
Yeah.
Because they realized that there's a lot of people out there that's the only thing they buy.
Which is confusing to me.
And they just don't care. Yeah, I know. Sports games seem so strange. It's just like...
Well, to me, it's one of those things, like, I keep on... We have a different tripod, so I keep on keeping this fucking thing.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Looks like the fucking... It looks like, just put a circle on this. Looks like the fucking walking eye from Johnny Quest.
Yeah, that or it looks like fucking War of the Worlds. It's got the 3 big legs, and they're just as far spread as possible. This is, like, made for, like, an earthquake, so the tripod doesn't tip over.
Or sort of like, just like trying to fucking chase like wormholes or something like that, like shoot up in the sky like in fucking like Thor or something. But anyway,
Tremors.
Yeah, but anyway, there was what the fuck was I saying about? What were we talking about before?
We're talking about Metal Gear Solid or PS4.
Oh no, sports games. It seems kind of weird to me because like people I mean, I'm not trying to be a dick here, but it's like I'm guessing the people that like play sports games, they're probably into ESPN. They probably like to go play football or soccer or baseball or whatever. I'm kind of surprised, like, of all the things you can do on, like, because all the things, all the places you can go to in, like, a video game, you're like, let's go to this thing I can just kind of watch on TV any day. And if that's what you're into, fine. But it just seems kind of weird to me. Of all the things you could do, you just play the sports games, which is like, you can go outside and play that right now, really.
Even though, I will say, like, sports games are fun. They always have been, you know what I mean? Like, the football game's great, the hockey games are great, the basketball games are really good, even the baseball games are good. The golf games are really fun.
I mean, I have played sports games at a good time, but I've never been that much into them. I've never gone out and spent harder. The only sports game I spent out and went and spent hard money on, and like talking real sports, not like a kart racing game or something, like is Mario Tennis. And that's basically like playing Pong. Yeah. So it's kind of like, I mean, that's the only sports game I really got out of my way and spent harder money on. And then I'm not going to count the Wii Sports. That comes with
the Wii.
Yeah.
Well, you know, the thing about sports games is like...
Or boxing. I see how boxing's fun.
Yeah, boxing. But as long as you don't really care about having the up-to-date roster, it's just like you can go out and buy sports games for under $10.
Yeah.
So, you know, I mean, they are fun. They are enjoyable. I can see where you like them. They're good competitive fun. Like, I haven't really played... I kind of stopped playing sports games after, like, the Dreamcast. That was kind of like the heyday of good sports games. Even though they're probably just as good now, but... You know, you kind of play one sports game, you can stick with that same one for a long time.
Sega had a really strong sports franchise for a while.
Well, I love, like, the NFL 2K1 and NBA 2K1. And all those games were great. And then, like, once, like, I think what really bothered me is when, like, Madden kind of was... When EA kind of had, like, no. Madden is the only football game that can be released anymore.
Only NFL one.
Yeah. And I was like, that's fucking gay. Fuck you guys.
And they had the one like Blitz, like the League, where it was like...
Well, that was still by EA, though.
Was that still EA that came out with like Blitz? There was like, here's the alternative, like, dark version where there's a story mode and your guys can take steroids.
You're talking about the new one, right? Not the N64 arcade one?
I'm talking... This was probably PlayStation 2, Xbox... Maybe GameCube also.
Oh, okay, maybe they made it. Because they made a new one only a couple of years ago of that, too. It's like they come out every, like, 5 years or something.
Yeah, it was kind of like Any Given Sunday, basically.
That's an EA game, though. Yeah, they have their own teams, though, in that.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so I remember when I heard that's like, Sega can't make fucking football games anymore. Fuck you guys.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I never really played... I mean, I'm not trying to shit on people who do enjoy sports games. A lot of people do, and it's just one of those things... I don't understand if that's the only thing you play, given how many other things there are for it, you know?
Yeah, well, it's just weird that more what it is. The weird part is just this goes back to like you have a PS2, it's just like upgrade to a fucking PS3. It's just like the systems aren't expensive. That's the thing is they're not that much more expensive. You know, it's like put your money out there. I mean, obviously there's enough consumers, but that's why I think Nintendo's pretty smart though, because Nintendo kind of like the second their new system comes out, they just stop the old one, and that's how it should be. Don't fucking hold on to it, you know.
Actually, I was wondering this. Maybe you could tell me this. This is somewhat in regards to that. For NES, there was a game called Yoshi's. I think Yoshi's Cookies. Maybe not even Yoshi's Cookies, just Yoshi. I want to say.
Yeah, just the Yoshi one.
And it was some kind of Tetris type game. Was that like? Did that come out during the SNES, or was that the end of its lifespan, or were they just kind of like, let's use this character from that game and just plop him in Mario?
Now the NES continued on, I think, up to maybe '94, but that was at a time period where people just like they didn't understand the concept of like new technology.
Yeah,
they're kind of like, well, I bought a VHS player in 1969. Why the fuck do I got to go out and get a Laserdisc player now?
Exactly. You
know?
Yeah.
And I think this is like 1995. So like the concept of like, you know, because really people always kind of forget, like Nintendo came out in 1985 in the US, but it was in like 1982 it really came out in Japan. So it was pretty fucking old by the time Super Nintendo came out. But that concept of like updating your system was just like so foreign at that time. So that's why they kept the NES going. And because you have like Mega Man 6 and whatnot and 5, those all came out like 93. The very first Kirby game came out in 1993.
You probably even seen more for him because you didn't have kids going on buying this. You had kids asking their parents like every probably 6 years or something, can I get this new system? I got the last one was $400. Why do I got to get you this one now?
Yeah, there's that. And Super Nintendo, I think that pretty much did. There might have been one or two games. There's always going to be like the stragglers. There's always those games that kind of like, they were supposed to come out a year ago. So something happened. Well, here, kind of like Castlevania Lords of Shadow 2 comes out next week. I had that game pre-ordered last year. That's when it's supposed to come out, but now it's kind of like, I think it's kind of like a late bloomer. So
what system's that for?
For 360 and PS3.
Okay.
It's supposed to come out for Wii U, but never did.
Yeah.
They kind of backed off on that. But like at least Nintendo, it's like they cut. Once the N64 came out, it was N64. Once the the GameCube came out, it was just GameCube. They didn't stay.
It's kind of that way with the Wii U.
Yeah, the Wii, and then the Wii U. They didn't make any Wii U. Pretty much Skyward Sword was the last thing for Wii. There's a couple of stragglers, obviously, but that's about it. And I think that hopefully they don't try to run 360 and PS3 for a long time.
I can see
some people tell me
but
somebody asked me a question, they're like, "Well, are you satisfied with your 360? I mean, do you want to change?" I'm like, "Yes, it's been 6 fucking years. I want change." That's just how it is. Like yes, I love my 360, and I always like my 360, but I'm ready for the next step.
I'm kind of debating between Xbox One and PS4.
I'm still, because I went with the Wii U first. So it was like, before I get any of those two, I'm getting Wii U. It's
cheaper.
It's in my Nintendo bloodline, but I have to take it. Because I like to assume that I have this like Japanese blood running through me.
If you don't, like some kind of like Japanese like Freddy Krueger demon or something comes and haunts you in your sleep for not buying it.
So it's like I had to get the Wii U. That was the first goal. But I really do think I'd probably still get the Xbox One over the PS4. Because here's the thing: when it all gets down to it,
Gears of War.
Yeah, what's Gears of War going to come out for? Not PS4. I'll tell you that.
Yeah. I'm just looking at it more in the aspect,
and you can get Metal Gear Solid 5 for the...
If they make a Metal Gear Solid 4, like a port of it for Xbox One, I'm down. Or like downloadable or something like that, Kind of like one, because they came out with the whole like Metal Gear Solid collection for
Are you talking about the 360 one or the PS?
They have I want to say they have a 360 one. Like
I have the 360 one, and it has 2, 3, Peace Walker, and then the original 2 in it.
Oh, okay, yeah. So if they, and
that thing is so worth getting though, just because Metal Gear Solid 3 looks so fucking good. Like Metal Gear Solid 2, I mean, it's in widescreen, and it does look better, but it's not like as noticeable. But 3, because that was one of those kind of games that was on the very like pushing the PS2 to its limits, so it was a little bit foggy, and and that's just fucking crystal clear in the third one.
Yeah, so I'm wondering for like if they come out with.
But did you see the one that came out for fucking PS3? They released it later on. It was literally the Metal Gear Solid rate pack.
It had everything.
It had 1, 2, 3,
I saw that.
4, all
That's
the downloadable
reason.
content. The original 2, fucking Peace Walker, Portable Ops, that second like expansion thing. I think it had Metal Gear Acid 1. I mean, it had everything Metal Gear known to mankind on it. And I was
with the exception of Twin Snakes.
Yeah,
which I understand.
Which I think that's because it's Silicon Knights, and Silicon Knights is Nintendo, and so, that's the only downfall. I really wish that when they made the Metal Gear Solid 3 for the 3DS, they should have just made that Twin Snakes, because that came out the same time as the Metal Gear Solid, the first HD collection, the one for Xbox and PS3 came out, and those ones had 2 and 3, so it's like, well, why don't you fucking put Twin Snakes on, the 3DS? One, like, why put Metal Gear Solid 3? That one already has, like, way more complicated controls, like, you're putting it on a handheld, and then plus, like, what? That'd be perfect for it.
Yeah.
It was such a bummer.
I'd like to get that at some point.
The 3 for the 3DS?
Yeah.
That'd be pretty cool. I kind of go like, it would be cool to have, but I got it for my 360 now, so I'm like, yeah.
I don't have a copy of it anymore, so because my PS2 and all the games
Go out and get that HD collection for 360. It is so awesome, and it looks so good.
Yeah.
And then plus, yeah, as I said, you get 2, 3,
I never played Peace Walker.
Peace Walker, which is supposed to be amazing. I still haven't played that one yet.
I got the whatchamacallit. There's one.
I started that one up and it had weird controls, so it kind of threw me off. And I kind of did that like, oh, foreign controls.
There's one that I got. I was so looking forward to it, but it ended up being. It was the one before Peace Walker. I forget what it's called.
I think you got that Portable Ops Plus.
Portable Ops Plus.
It was more like VR missions or something like that.
Well, I got Portable Ops Plus, and that's all it was. It was like VR missions. Like fuck, I thought I got the updated version. Then I went out and got the actual Portable Ops or whatever it was. And what that was, it was very much one of those kind of, it was like the Metal Gear Solid equivalent to Star Fox Command on the DS.
Oh yeah,
because
it wasn't Star Fox 64 too.
Well, the game was almost. You could have just come out with another Star Fox game, and I would have been fine. But it became this game where suddenly you had to kind of plan out the mission, and when you collide with another guy, you'd suddenly play, and that sounds cool. But like you got this 30-second time limit within the game to play as this different ship because it was cool. Each character had their own ship. Slippy had his own ship. Fox, Falco, they all had their own ship. That was cool. But they would you have like this 30-second, maybe minute-long time window. You had to do this particular thing, and that's all you had time to do. And it's and then like you had to worry about what was going on the map with someone pointing a missile at the thing. So I was just kind of like, just give me another fucking Star Fox game. That's all I really
remember that. That was the problem with that one.
And Metal Gear Solid Portable Ops, that one was like, it was strategic because you could play Snake. What you have to do is you'd have to kidnap other people, drag them to like this rape van, and then in there you would like somehow I guess convert them and talk them into being on your side. And then you'd go out and each guy had different stats.
Six.
It's kind of like Pokemon, I guess. You go out like.
You catch them, put them in a ball, then they work for you.
Yeah, pretty much. And then but the thing is, when they went out there, they could only be on the field for a certain time. For some reason, these guys had like a time limit of how long they could be out on the field, and they had to be strategized, be the right point to get this mission done. Huh. And it was just kind of like, just give me a fucking Metal Gear Solid game. You don't got to give these little bells and whistles to it, you know?
Well, everybody keeps telling me Peace Walker's just fucking amazing.
And that's apparently one that's like, they finally said, all right, here's a normal Metal Gear Solid game, or Metal Gear Acid was like a card playing game.
That was kind of like,
They were being experimental, like...
Yeah, you gotta try those things every once in a while. Sometimes they work out well. But I always hear Peace Walker, it's almost one of those ones that it's almost could have like a number in it. Like it's that much of a real series game. And that one, you're like Snake, but then you form up like a team or whatnot, which apparently also in the Phantom Pain, you can also be doing the things like that too, where you start getting like a team together and whatnot.
Well, the idea of building a team of whatever you want, that's cool. It just seemed kind of weird that it was like, oh, this guy only has a 30-second time limit. He could be out in the field before he faints or whatever, you know?
Then you gotta go pick him up and pick him back at the rape van.
Yeah. So I don't really remember what the thing was. They're going to be out there for a while. And I was just like, fuck, man. Because I was so excited. Like, oh, a normal Metal Gear game for the PSP. That's awesome. But if that's what Peace Walker is, I'm totally down.
Yeah, it's totally normal game. I just remember when I played 2, 3 when I got that collection. And by the time I played Twin Snakes. Like, I fucking like... As I ordered that game, like I was just playing Twin Snakes over and over and over again. So I played about 3 times. So by the time I came to Peace Walker, I was kind of burnt out on Metal Gear by that point. And I started up, and the first thing I was just like, the controls are different. Like, this bothers me. Like, it was one of those things. You just got so used to it.
Can you convert the controls at all?
Yeah, they just kind of have like updated Metal Gear controls. They weren't like classic. So you gotta get used to it.
You're just so used to the PlayStation 1 controller too.
Well, I was used to like the GameCube and the Xbox controller by that point, but...
I don't know. I've only I played a little bit on the GameCube, and even that took me some time to get used to it. I'm like, whenever I play Metal Gear Solid, if I don't play it on a PlayStation controller, I'm so thrown off. Especially
it is a pretty
zero because O is always yes, X is always no. I'm guessing they changed that for the Xboxes too as well, unless they made it like A, like normal or something like that.
Yeah, well, the Xbox one's pretty darn simple. The only thing it doesn't have though is because PlayStation has the pressure sensitive face buttons. On the Xbox, which is actually kind of better because, now you actually like, oh, fuck, I held down the knife too hard. We're in, like, Metal Gear Solid 3, all you gotta do on the Xbox is, I think, you just press down on Y whenever you want to kill the guy. It was like, so instead of, like, have pressure sensitive, it's just, like, you press a button instead.
Yeah.
It's actually easier. But, I really, like, whenever Phantom Pain comes out, that's gonna be my, like, that's the day I have to go and get an Xbox One or PS4. That day is the day that I got to get one. Till then, I can probably wait. There doesn't. So far, there's nothing that's jumping out at me where I feel like good games, but nothing like I got to go get this.
I'll probably get Ground Zero right off the bat. I'll probably just.
Well, I can get that for 360. So
I'll probably just go. Even though I haven't played it before, it's a prequel, so I can probably just go out and get that right off the bat.
Yeah, it's pretty much a prequel. Comes after Peace Walker. I feel like maybe I should play Peace Walker.
I wonder if Kiefer Sutherland still does the voice of Snake, or if that was just some kind of like publicity, kind of like.
No, I think he's still doing it.
Really?
I don't know if he's. No, well, that's not our phone. I think that's one. He's still doing it. I'm not too sure if he's doing the voice in Ground Zero. That maybe it might be in there because it's kind of like that's like the tester game.
Yeah.
But what that one's supposed to be, it's just kind of like this one kind of quick mission, and you're supposed to. It's kind of be like you kind of go play, you test out all the play mechanics, you go to different areas. It's just supposed to be kind of more like a
$20 or 20 hours ain't so bad. That sounds like reasonable.
not 20 hours.
Oh, you said 20 hours.
2 hours.
Oh, 2 hours. Oh,
Like
$10 an hour. Okay.
Yeah, it's like well, it's one thing like that's just one run through, and you can do multiple run throughs. And I think there's like it changes, and it's supposed to it's not always totally the same each time.
Mm-hmm.
They say that like after a while you can start speed running it in like 10 minutes or something like that. But
I'd be down to check that out.
But still, I'm like I don't care. Like the way I look at it is like it's kind of like a support thing. You're kind of saying like, hey, like this goes towards the fandom pain. We like this.
Mm-hmm.
Where I'll buy it for fucking it's a story. I'll buy it for the story section of it.
Yeah.
Test the play mechanics out. And I think it's cool that it is for 360 and PS3 as well. Apparently, it's supposed to be this thing like, if you buy this and like you can unlock things for the Phantom Pain, but I'm like, probably doesn't work if you get the 360 version. Like, I don't know how that's going to transfer to like Xbox One or something.
Yeah.
But whatever, I can't wait. Still cool. I mean, that was one of those things that just kind of came out of nowhere. It's like, oh, that's coming out the end of March.
Kind of slipped up on me too. I just saw like on the cover of Game Informer. I was like, well, what the fuck?
Yeah, and I was like, oh, okay, I'll go do that. They also released these like I think they're coming out. There's these Metal Gear shoes coming out in
Really?
like a jacket, and they're made by
Like Converse or
I
something?
want to say they're made by I want to say
I
they
see
are
it being kind of a Gorillas type thing.
like a girl's thing. They're like $195.
I like the fucking Gorillas thing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of the ones like I would so buy that if it was like a reasonable price.
The thing is, Converse, they wear out so quickly too. I mean, I went through 2 pairs of Converse.
Well, I also feel like if I pay
they're cool, but
if I pay $200, I'm not gonna fucking wear them because it's like I paid $200 for them.
I remember when
If I paid $60, I'd wear them.
Gorillas is one of my favorite bands. So when they came out with like their own brand of Converse for a little while, I was like, oh my god! And I went out and looked, and I just looked how expensive they were. I'm like, really? They're that much?
Well, I always kind of go like, I mean, obviously, I think
limited edition.
when they make them, they're selling it to shoe collectors and like rich people and things like that. But it's just kind of ones like
the Sonic shoes.
Yeah, it's like, well, at least the Sonic shoes, you can fucking grind rails with them.
Yeah. So they're made to last.
Yeah.
They probably got I see there being kind of like this big like Raiders of the Lost Ark like warehouse of like shadow shoes that no one wanted because everybody wanted.
Well, yeah, if I'm paying $200, I'm buying Sonic.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If they were $50 a piece, I'd buy both.
They're made to go down rails, so those ones are made to last.
Yeah, I keep looking those ones up on eBay and stuff. I can't find a single pair of those anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if they're just that rare or what, but.
I wouldn't surprise you could probably find some custom made ones or whatever at some point. Probably for like $400.
Well, the only thing I can find when I look them up is like you find like a pair of slippers that's like Sonic, which is like that's cool, but I can't go grind rails now with that.
In my dream, do this in Sonic shoes for I don't know how long.
Yeah, ever since I played Sonic Adventure 2, I want to grind some fucking rails now.
But for me, it would have seemed kind of counterproductive because I was kind of a fat kid. So wearing these Sonic shoes and running the mile like in PE, that probably.
So everybody looks like, look at that fat kid thinks he's running fast.
Yeah, pretty much. I'd be crying like Goofy. No, but you said they're shoes and a jacket.
Yeah, there's like this
Maybe
kind
the
of
jacket might be.
There's this, jacket's actually I think cheaper than the shoes. I want to say the jacket was like $150.
What's it look like?
I think there might be. I saw a picture online. Which
I'll look at it.
I had the article, but I don't think I got it here. But the jacket I think was kind of like supposed to look like a sneaking suit jacket. Mm-hmm. Like it was all supposed to look like Solid Snake like. Mm-hmm. And like the
That's
box.
amazing.
I saw the shoebox was cool because it had like the Fox logo on it.
Yeah. I'd love to have all that stuff. It's just if it's that expensive. The jacket's a maybe because I can see the jacket lasting.
Well, the
I
jacket
see a pair
you
of
probably have
Converse
for the rest of your life.
I can see the Converse wearing out pretty quickly though.
Yeah, the shoe. It's just one. It's like it's a pair of shoes with a fucking print on it. Like how much more expensive was that than the regular shoe?
Yeah. Is it just one print or is it multiple
I think
designs?
there's like 2 or 3 designs.
Because there was like 4 designs for the Gorillas, and there's some that looked pretty cool. There's one that was like the camouflage from the Jeep on the first album. Mm-hmm. And I think it said Gorillas on there somewhere. Maybe in the front of the shoe it said Jeep, like the G-E-E-P. And then there was one that was brown. It had the gargoyle-looking thing from Demon Days and had a couple weird little designs along the side, which looked pretty cool. Then there was one that was just like white, and it was just like a bunch of just drawings of the characters kind of crossed together and merged. Just kind of like a big
collage.
Where's Waldo thing of a bunch of different characters all over. There's another version of that, but they were colored, like so blue, red, yellow. You know.
Huh? That last one sounds like the coolest one. Or at least one of them.
I like that.
I didn't see. I remember seeing them online when they came up. I kind of like.
I can't wear. I have trouble. It looks kind of like it's one of those things. Every once in a while, you'll see like a type of jacket or something that looks really cool, but you know, it's one of those things like I am too white to pull that off and make it look good. Like there is that one.
Are you talking about the Mario one that had like all the little like Mario characters
like
everywhere?
No, there's one like,
it was
like that.
Multicolored.
Like that, or another instance was there's a Mario one. I mean, granted, I don't really wear a whole lot of Mario. Back in high school, I did it all the time. Once I discovered Hot Topic, like band T-shirts and video game T-shirts was my main apparel. But now it's like a few of them because I don't know. I got worn out on them in high school. But
once you notice your entire like closet is all like some form of like band or video game movie T-shirt,
like Metal Gear, Mario, Sonic, or Street Fighter. After a while, like I gotta get some.
I gotta branch out.
I just want a plain blue shirt or like a normal just like plaid button down. That's fine. Now no, but there was one that was actually a pretty cool. Like it was like a hoodie, and it was like a it was like the level from Mario 1 where it's all the mushrooms are. It's like the cliff level, but all the mushrooms are way high up.
Oh, I do remember that one, yeah.
And I want to say it was like Luigi jumping across, and it was like a snapshot right out of the game, thrown on this jacket. And it actually looked really cool, but it was just like, that many colors, like, I'm way too white to wear that. Because it was really big and baggy.
Well, it's one of those ones, like, I don't know what it is, like, white people have to have solid colors. They cannot wear multiple colors. That's like, whenever I see those, I'm like, I wish I was kind of black so I could wear this. Then I'd look totally fine. I don't know what it is. Like a black person will look totally great, like in a sweatshirt like that. But a white person wears it, they just look goofy as fuck.
I even have this one. I mean, I don't know
what maybe an Asian or a Mexican could pull it off. I'm not too sure.
I think they're
in between. Yeah. They might go both ways depending on how they look. They can either look goofy as fuck or look really good.
Yeah, I think
well, where do you fall? Do you fall as goofy as fuck?
I think really anybody who's not white can pull that jacket off in most part, in my opinion.
It's just like, yeah, white people, they just need solids.
Yeah,
you know
but
what I mean?
There's one shirt I had. It was literally the color. It was literally the cover of Mario Brothers 3. It was literally
that was a great shirt.
I still have that somewhere. It's like, you know. But I haven't worn it in so long. But it was literally just the cover to Mario Brothers 3. It was just like large. Okay, I just picked up the large, going up to the counter, and then I unfold the thing. I'm so glad I did. The thing was like meant to be large for like a kid, like if you're like a cast member of like Fat Albert or something, because it was like fucking down to my knees and fucking like just so baggy. It just looked like. What? I'm not fucking Jesse Pinkman. What the fuck is this?
Yeah.
So I'm like, 1 second. It's like, oh, I'm first time since grade school, a medium. Like a medium or something, and they're like, oh, like fit like a normal large. So.
But you also be careful. There's the other large you can buy too, but you don't notice it where it's like youth large. You just see large, and you're like, oh wait a second, this is emo large.
Well, no, yeah. There was one time I felt like such an asshole because like. It was actually, it worked out for you, but what happened was there was such a badass like Link shirt, and what it was Link in this. It was like a grayscale Link.
It was like Ocarina of Time Link too.
I want to say it was Ocarina of Time Link. Actually, no, I want to say it was Twilight Princess because I want to say it had the Twilight Princess design on the back of like right behind the.
Well, there's the Triforces on the back of it.
But I want to say it's like the Twilight. It had like a Twilight Princess type version of it. I think maybe I'm wrong, but anyway,
I can pull it out. It's fucking sitting over there.
Oh, we'll figure it out later. I don't think the audience gives a shit that much. But anyway, it's this really cool dark gray picture of Link on like the center of the shirt, just in this badass pose. The shirt was black. I don't really know what you describe the material as, but
it's like an undershirt, really, is what it is.
Like an undershirt, and it looked really cool. And on the back, right behind the collar, was the Triforce, and it was smaller, but whatever for whatever reason, it looked really cool. And it just said extra large. I'm like. Oh, that'll fit me fine. I got it. I just picked it up, walked out. Then I realized this was made for an emo kid because I put it on. It was a very tight snug. It fit my arms, and like I'm in better shape now, but back like junior in high school, I wasn't in that great a shape, so it was just way too snug. Like totally made for like a goth emo kid. It just like hugged way too tight. Like motherfucker, because this is a time when you went to Modesto, it was just a once in a while thing. When you went there, you like I got to stock up on some cool shit because I don't know the next time I'm gonna be here because we don't have shit up here aside from Walmart. Mm-hmm. So come back. I just feel like I got this You want it, Spencer? And like, let me see if it fits. It fits me just fine. Oh, look, it's even a little loose fitting. How about that?
Well, now that shirt is like, it's pretty tight though. Now I'm getting to that point where you're like, ugh.
Well, at least it's out of like just muscle. It wasn't me. Like, it's you. It was
muscle.
muscle.
You just didn't want to look like the big, because there's always like multiple types of emo kids. There was the really skinny emo kids, and then there's always the bigger emo kid who tried to fit in all the same clothes that a skinny little buddy did. So they'll put on like the
skinny
tight
jeans.
pants, and they get that weird look where they got this like it's really
They still have their boxers hanging out partially. I don't understand the whole emo thing where like. It was they were trying to be semi-gangster because there's the hella tight pants.
Well, they were carrying on. They're sort of like, because in the 90s, like, if you wore tight clothes in the 90s, you got ridiculed at school.
Yeah.
You just, like, that's why I went out and I just bought, I'm like, fucking, I'm like a 75-pound, like, 8-year-old boy. I'm going to buy a large t-shirt. Because I don't want to be ridiculed anymore. And I'll go get fucking, like, what do you call those pants? Like sort of like the workout pants, like the swishy ones.
I know what you mean.
Yeah, like those pants. And then you go to school and everyone's like, dude, you look so good. I'm like, thanks. Good, I fit in.
Like, you're not even that excited. Good, I fit in. Right on.
Good. So, the perfect thing, though, as I got older, I can wear all my clothes from when I was a kid because they all fit perfect now.
Yeah, fuck you.
I bought them all large when I was a kid, and then I grew up to fit into larges.
For me, it's one of those things, like, to give a better image, I wasn't like some like super obese kid, like, but I was
Roll
like...
me to the lunch counter.
I wasn't that. I wasn't like in the best of shape. I wasn't that guy. I just couldn't really look good in a tight shirt that like showed off your arms like the Link one, just to give an image. It wasn't like...
You weren't going to go out and get the skinny jeans and have your boxers hang out and dye your hair black and then like... sit there being like...
chain wallet.
Yeah, chain wallet.
Chain wallet.
There was a time period where it was hard to buy a wallet without a chain.
Yeah, I literally had to reach a point where, like, my Bullet Bill wallet I have right now, it came with a chain, but I had to take it off it. I literally had to get scissors and cut the chain off the thing.
Well, I remember because I had this chain wallet, like, at the time period where you had to go, like, meet a biker to get a chain wallet. Like, you couldn't just go to, like, any store.
There was, like, a rite of passage. Once you got your Harley Davidson and once you made your first meth deal, that's when
you get your chain wallet. Well, I found this chain wallet on the ground, and it was a biker's one, like, when I was a kid. And, I assume it's a biker's. It had no identification in it, so I didn't really worry about returning it. And, it was just a nice, thick leather wallet with a big chain on it, and then I had a couple other chains to it. And then later on down the line, like, every wallet sold like that,
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if they still are. I don't think they are as much.
It's kind of like...
I think that time period's kind of passed.
I never really thought about that, but when you think back on, like, there's certain things that just seem like, he has a chain wallet, he's seen some shit. Now it's just part of the things like, oh, it's just the thing now.
It's just a fashion statement.
But, like, there's a time...
Or he didn't have a choice. That was the only wallets they sold with Bullet Bill on it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I always get compliments in the Bullet Bill wallet, even though things falling apart. But yeah. No, but there's a time when, like, for instance, I'm not talking shit on people with tattoos, but tattoos, like, if you had a tattoo, you seen some shit, you did some time, you traveled the world, there's a reason you had that tattoo. Now it's just kind of like, I'm gonna get a tattoo now. Now there's kind of like, it's just popular.
Well, the tattoos, that's the one thing to me, it's like, if it's like, if there was ever a cool point of tattoos, that time is totally past. Because nowadays it just kind of feels like, it's like everybody has them, it's just not unique anymore. It's you're being unique by not getting a tattoo, I always feel.
I think that if you get a tattoo and it really does have like some kind of personal meaning to you, then I think that's fine. Like a friend of mine, she has a tattoo on her arm, not in a trashy place, like right on her arm of forearm. Like her family, right on her forearm of her family crest.
Huh.
And that's okay.
Cool.
That's cool. Or it's like somebody, I don't know this person, I sort of know them. They have like a tattoo of like their kid's like footprint on their upper shoulder. That's fine. That's very
kind of weird, but like they're fine.
Well, it's like that's a very personal thing to them. I get that. Mm-hmm. It's more of like when you get something like, this is gonna look so fucking hot over my ass or over my pussy, and then it's like 20 years later, just like, no, that looks good
like
when
rose. It looks like it's melting and like, kill me now,
yeah.
kill me.
Yeah,
I've seen the worst.
Exactly. It's like it's like when you get a tattoo just to look sexy or just to look hot. It's like, yeah, it's gonna look hot as hell for like when you're like maybe like 19 to like probably mid 30s. But it's gonna like when you get older. I mean, because we're gonna have this whole generation of like
tattooed motherfuckers.
Yeah, we're gonna. I wonder if the next generation is gonna see like what their parents become, so it's gonna scare them from getting tattoos.
So everybody's gonna go back to this very like conservative, like old style.
Yeah, I think that everything works in cycles like that.
They just be like, my parents are such heathens. The other day they were out smoking the bong hookah at their retirement home. Such a disgrace.
Listening to MGMT.
Yes, and death metal. It's a horrid sight.
I can't take it.
Well, I always feel though the day. If
I am not from the loins.
The weird thing too is when somebody gets just like one tattoo. To me, that always looks weird. I always feel like if you're gonna get one tattoo, fucking just tattoo your entire body. Because it sounds weird, but I always think that if your whole body's tattooed, it looks more natural than just the one like randomly placed, like it looks like you fell down.
Well,
some mud got stuck to you and it just never came off.
Not that about a tattoo is natural in the first place. I just think
I guess it's just proportionate. Like it evens it out. Because if you just have like one tattoo on your arm and you look at the other side, there's nothing. It's just like it looks like you're off balance. You're off kilter.
I just don't get the point of getting like a.
It's like you're wearing like a long sleeve on one side and you cut off the sleeves on the other.
Oh no, I just think that one single tattoo, depending where you're at, like I think it's one of those things. Like for instance, if you look at any kind of like I guess modern movie where there's like a bad guy, like any modern like action movie where the bad guy's some Eastern European guy and he takes off his shirt and at some point he just has like in Call of Duty or something, he has just miscellaneous tattoos all over, not like Naga giant sleeve, but just miscellaneous, like or like in Memento, for instance, how he just has miscellaneous kind of like things like that. That looks cool. I mean, I don't know how cool it's gonna look by the time you're not
we all know by the time you get somewhere it's gonna be.
I mean, just the miscellaneous stuff, but when it's all like intentionally matching,
wet road map.
Yeah, you know, like whenever you. I mean, it's more of like I guess I'm kind of my opinion is like I see the point of like if the tattoo means something to you, really means something to you, that's cool. I just don't see the point of getting it because
that's a lot of commitment.
What?
I said it's a big commitment.
It is a big commitment.
The way I always this is the way how I always describe a tattoo. It's like, Ryan, you like that Red Hot Chili Peppers t-shirt?
Yes, I do.
Would you want that to be on you for the rest of your life? You can
No.
never take it off?
No.
Exactly.
Well,
exactly. It's nice to be able to take that shirt off, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. I know.
And that's what I mean. That's how I always feel about a tattoo. Is that's what it is. It's like wearing the same t-shirt for the rest of your life.
There was like there was a great like Whitest Kids You Know sketch where Trevor walks in. I don't remember the other guy. I remember Trevor's the only name. Trevor and Timmy are the only two names I remember. But all right, Trevor walks into a tattoo parlor. He's totally drunk. And the guy he was in, I didn't see the movie, but he was the other star of Miss March or Miss April, whatever that Whitest Kids You Know movie was. He comes in just totally hammered. And he's like, all right, dude, I want to get a tattoo, man. It's totally going to be fucking amazing. I want Bowser from Super Mario Brothers playing a double neck guitar with the sunglasses kind of leaning down, giving this look like, what's up? He's on a surfboard surfing, and behind that, there's a giant cross, and behind that, this goes on for a while, there's a giant pot leaf, and I wanted to say my mom's name below, because she just died, I got really religious, and like he's like, wait, sir, I think you're making this up as you go along. You know, it's like a 2-minute like sketch, and he's like, so let me get this straight. Like, he's actually, you know, I don't want my mom's name. I want to say Happy Birthday, Dave, because tomorrow's his birthday, and this tattoo's gonna blow his fucking mind. And, like, he's like, all right, Happy Birthday, Dave, let's do this. Yeah, just like hops in the room. Now, later, I just out of curiosity, I typed in Whitest Kids You Know, and before I even finished, like tattoo. I clicked. So many people got that tattoo he described, like, huge on their back or on their bicep or something.
Wow.
That's dedication.
Well, that's the one thing that's like, nowadays, though, it just seems like people, they get tattoos on a whim. It just seems like, you know, it's like, oh, I like this. I'll give a tattoo of it. You know what I mean? And it's kind of like, I do that, like, when it's like, I like that band a lot. I'll get a t-shirt of theirs. I want to support them. But, like, I don't know about a tattoo, though. I always feel like, yeah.
And a friend of mine, she said, like, she had a friend, never met the guy. He got drunk one night, and I don't know, this guy had to be fucking rich or something, or had no fucking problem paying this much money. He got a giant tattoo on his back of a demon unicorn pissing in the mouth of a mermaid.
That's awesome.
So,
see,
like a huge thing on his back.
Like, I like looking at other people's tattoos going, that's fucking awesome. It's like, I don't know if I'd want that on myself.
Exactly, so.
I don't know. It's one of those things, I've never been able to really get the tattoo thing. I see, like, you know, I always go, like, you know who looks good in tattoos? Motley Crue. You know, another person looks good in tattoos? Avenged Sevenfold. But some of the other bands, I don't know, they always look kind of weird. Like, Guns N' Roses, the tattoos never work for them, I don't think. They're always, because they have the spotty, like, just like, you know, pick a place, close your eyes, point to where you want it. Point in the mirror, actually.
It'll be like a fucking, like, pin the tail on the donkey kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like, spin around. All right, Axel, you spin around, close your eyes, walk up to Slash, point at where you want it on the...
That's where it'll be. And take a couple shots of this, like vodka, too. That will make it more fun. You know, and it's just like... Because a lot of bands don't look very good in tattoos. You look at them, they just look like they had no idea what they were doing when they were doing it.
Speaking of bands, this isn't so much about tattoos, but speaking of bands, and we were talking about generations in the 90s, as we often do, I was kind of thinking a little bit ago, like, not this generation, maybe a little bit of this generation, but maybe, like, our high school generation of hard rock bands. Mm-hmm. Like, it seems kind of like it's going to be a very forgettable time. I was just thinking about this because, like, when you think back, all right, I mean, even for better or worse, when you think back on the 80s hair metal, whether you love the 80s hair metal or not, when you think about it, it has a look. It has a distinct feel to it. It's like, oh, yeah, the perms, the vest, the fucking leather jeans.
Hair, the tight pants, the multiple colors.
You get to 90s, it's like,
the flannels, the ripped jeans, the mohawks, the...
Yeah. And then when you get kind of like...
The beard.
And then you get to, like, say, like, 2000s. Not like 2010 now, but like 2000... Like,
you mean like Nickelback's look to be like, oh...
The shirt,
the jeans, and the black T-shirt, and the short hair.
Yeah, it's kind of like something like a band like Crossfade or Trapped or Breaking Benjamin. Like, it doesn't really seem to have, like, the music itself doesn't seem, but the look itself doesn't seem to have a real identity. It just seems like, oh yeah, remember they wore jeans and they wore T-shirts.
Whenever I look at those bands,
there's usually a bald guy and there's one guy with a nose piercing.
Yeah, he's the radical one.
Yeah.
That's the one thing. It's like Nickelback's always that band I always look at and go like, the one thing that always bothers me about their look is like they look like they just got off of fucking work and just came and played music, like that kind of thing. Like, well, I can't grow my hair out. My boss will beat me and rape me in the rape van.
Because the boss totally has that power. His boss is fucking like Big Boss. It's like, they call me Big Boss for a reason.
You know, but it's like one of those ones. It's just like that look of like I know that's kind of, I think that people like that. They're like, I relate with my audience because my audience has to go to work and they can't grow their hair out and they have to wear jeans and a t-shirt. But they just like that look. It's like you take away like if you see these guys on the street, they just look like regular people. It's like you're a rock star. You're supposed to look like something. Like what? Come on, do something. I don't care. Grow your hair, shave your hair weird. Put something on unique.
Something about like I know I've been talking about him a lot this podcast. Someone like Springsteen or Neil Young. They could actually kind of have like wear everyday stuff, but they wear it in a way, or they just have the stage presence. You know.
Well, these other guys just I don't know. It's just you look at them, they just look like Chad Kroger's the only guy in that band that looks like he plays music. The other guys just look like they just look like he just met him on the fucking corner and said like, hey, you know, you guys are buying at 7-Eleven. Come on, look, you can be my backup band.
That's probably what happened.
Like one or two of them is like one was his brother, and then the other guy I think is like his brother's friend, and the other guy just they found him.
He's the one they found at 7-Eleven.
Yeah,
they just found him
in Canada, Canadian 7-Eleven.
No, but
yeah, there's so many of those bands that, like you just look at them and you're like, what? They just look generic. You know, at least one thing about emo is emo will be a very remembered look. You know what I mean? Like it has a very unique style to it. Industrial has a nice style to it.
And a lot of these bands, like I'm not even sure what you'd call it. Like I'm thinking of bands. I mean, I guess they're kind of industrial, but I'm thinking of bands like I guess Nickelback falls into this, but it's not so much the country rock kind of thing that Nickelback has a little bit of.
Oh, you're talking about country rock? Or you're talking about like
not country rock? I'm talking about
hard rock.
I'm talking about like hard rock, like say your 96.7 bands like Breaking Benjamin,
Death Punch.
Maybe Five Finger Death Punch. I haven't really seen pictures of them, but I guess that Trapped, Crossfade. Trusting Company or whatever, you know, just
Buckcherry.
Yeah, like these bands, because when you think back on like a certain style, like love the hipster stuff or hate the hipster stuff. Okay,
it at least still has a look.
It has a look. These guys like, oh yeah, they remember because you could look back and say, oh yeah, I remember in the '70s they had bell bottoms and they had like
big hair, you know. You know they had like flower colored like flowing shirts and whatnot, and like dragons and shit,
or like mods. Remember mods? And this one it's gonna be kind of like remember. T-shirts. Remember jeans. One guy had baggy jeans, but most of them just normal jeans.
Regular jeans. Were they tight? No, they weren't tight. So they're baggy. No, not baggy either. They're
Jeans.
regular ones.
Oh yeah, and there'd be like maybe there was one kind of like heavy set guy. Maybe I don't know. Maybe just which band?
I don't know. Yeah, which band was that from? I'm not too sure. He had a shaved head.
I really think that a lot
half
of like
them had shaved heads.
I'm thinking about a lot of like 2000 bands, like just bands that came out in that time, are gonna be kind of forgotten, really.
Well, I feel like that genre is gonna be in like 30 years. It's gonna be kind of like this very like. It'll be kind of like people will remember like grunge, but they won't remember that post grunge kind of music. Or if they do, they'll remember those songs and they'll kind of like they'll sort of fade into the grunge. Strangely enough, like it'll kind of mix.
Another example, I guess, would be of this type of music I'm thinking of. This band was pretty successful for a while, but I guess like a Three Doors Down. Kind of like one of them.
Yeah.
Like the other band's kind of like a Three Doors Down.
Well, that's a post grunge style band and
post grunge, yeah. That's kind of what Nickelback was, and I'm thinking this kind of stuff right here.
Yeah,
because even Nickelback, they still have kind of even though it's grungy, they still have kind of a country-ish feel to them. But I mean, you know what I mean. It's kind of hard to explain. But
yeah, I know. There's sort of like it's. I think that's why Nickelback. It's a Canadian band, but it appeals really well to America, which is strange because mostly it doesn't happen that way.
Well, they got that one song like "We're doing it like animals." Who's that outside the car? It's my dad. He's a sheriff. He's got a gun.
That's okay. I'll fuck him like an animal. I'm just fucking everything like an animal.
The dark side of the Canadian rock scene.
Well, because you listen to their first album, and that first album's just like it's like, man, these guys like. Must really love that Soundgarden and Pearl Jam and Alice in Chains.
First album?
Maybe a little bit of Pantera, too. And then you're like, it's very grunge. It's like, like, we gotta sing about Canadian problems. There's something going on up here.
All this free healthcare ain't as good as it looks.
Some people think we're the only band we got is Rush. But we're here. We're proud. About Canada and Maple Leaves. And then after a while, just like, they came to America and like had like a record contract. The guy's like, yeah. Nobody gives a flying fuck about like your Canadian problems. They just want to have. Just want to hear about sex, more sex, and then say you're a bad man and you're sorry for what you did last night. Yeah. And then you go back to more sex and more sex. Maybe throw a little bit of drugs in there to top it off.
Throw you on the Transformers soundtrack. Call you good.
But and then every once in a while, like Nickelback does this thing like, we're gonna make a difference, yo. And they try to sing a song about like, you gotta help the children of the world or something like that. And then the next song is like, and then I was fucking her mom when she walked in and I said, hey, get over here and I'll fuck you too. Played it on the radio.
There is that kind of like, I'm a bad man. I'm trying to be better. It just ain't working out. Just shut your mouth. Go down now. Open your mouth. I'm gonna fuck your mouth.
You'll be like my little nun girl.
Little nun girl. It's kind of like, this one was inspired by Catholic Schoolgirls Rock by the Red Hot Chili Peppers.
They knew that, if you get a Catholic schoolgirl, she can put the God back into you.
You'll be my little nun girl.
And then we gotta, wait a second, guys, we gotta spread a message here. We got power that other people just don't have, and there's people in the world that, are starving and shit. They don't get that free health care that Canada gets, so let's write a song about it.
Let's get Billy Gibbons in here. What you gonna do about it? Gonna live like a rock star.
I'm gonna get Ted Nugent in here, too.
Was it Billy Gibbons?
Yeah, Billy Gibbons is in the rock star one, and then Ted Nugent's in that one, too.
Oh, okay.
But,
no, because I got in all honesty, their first two albums, I wouldn't go out and buy them, but I listen, like, this ain't bad.
Are you talking about, like, their first album, like the 96 one?
First two or three.
Because everybody always thinks the first two, they think of the other ones.
I think the first two or three, like, Silver Side Up was, like, that one was, like, oh, I mean, like, that
was... It's, like, the second or third one.
Yeah, that was alright, and, like, the ones before that were fine, too. I mean, I don't need to go out and buy them, but I understand the appeal to them, where... Like, everything from, like, Long Road on, it's got to lock your pants around your feet, shove this in your fucking mouth, I got feelings too, so. Like, there's that one song, someday, somehow, we're gonna make it alright, I don't know how, there's that song.
Because that goes back to, like, yeah, you sing about sex, you sing about, like, I was a bad boy last night, and you sing about sex again, and then you go, like, oh God, the children. Oh God, Africa's burning!
That's the next. Oh my God, Africa's. I just see a picture of like the continent of Africa just on fire. Chad Kroeger, like Macaulay Culkin face popping up. Oh God, Africa's burning.
Well, there was like that
Their first political album.
There was that last album that came out or whatever, and there was I was looking at the music video when it came out, and it was probably about 2 or 3 years ago by now almost. But they were singing this song about like it was almost like bring the world together, and it just showed like all these like cultures and stuff, and like. And I noticed every once in a while they just get to this point where like, oh fuck, we gotta make a point here, you know. We've just been doing too much sex, too much drugs, too much drinking, too much being bad boys, and there's people out there with real problems.
I see it being kind of like Chad Kroeger saw a
documentary.
You know,
like
he saw
3 a.m.
Not even that. He saw like Forgetting Sarah Marshall, and there's that Russell Brand song like we gotta do something. I don't know what we gotta do something. It's like he's right. Come on. So I don't know. I haven't listened to Nickelback since like Long Road, and I hear miscellaneous songs here and there. I'm like, I still don't like them, but whatever. They're doing their thing. Good for them.
You know, they're making their money. I don't know.
It almost seems kind of too easy. I mean, I'm not saying this to be a dick. It seems too easy to make fun of them now. It seems kind of like yelling Freebird out at a concert, you know?
Yeah, because whenever you hear somebody making fun of Nickelback nowadays, it's just kind of like.
Even though we just did it for like 5 minutes.
Well, yeah, we were like making. Yeah, I guess we were, but not like. You know, the way that I always hear it, people always just go like they just talk about Nickelback, they just like kind of like shit talk them to death, like you know, like oh they're not even musicians and things like that. Just kind of like I don't know, they just do their thing.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, there's a lot of music out there you don't like, but it's I just say it's you know, they're doing their thing.
Yeah,
that's my music always. You know, I like Nickelback's one of the only bands out of those like genres that like I like some of their stuff on there, and you know it works. But
you had the Chad Kroeger look going for a little while.
Did I?
For a little while.
How would I have the Chad Kroeger? As long as it's not the fucking like the one that I get a lot. That's always the one that's like, oh god, not that look. When somebody goes like, hey, you look like that Kid Rock, and it's like, oh fuck, not anybody but that. Jesus Christ.
Well, I think as long as you're not walking around with like a wife beater and a chain wallet, I think you're safe from looking like Kid Rock.
I can't wear my fucking bowler's cap that I thought was so cool. I'm like, dude, I would like. The bowler's cap was the one that people always like, dude, you look just like Kid Rock. And it's like, oh, bowler's caps were so cool too.
Just you didn't get for a little while. I got like.
It made me feel like an Irish guy like in the 1800s, but now I can't wear it anymore.
For a while, I was getting like I shouldn't say this or announce this because people.
Was this the Elmer Fudd one?
Oh fuck that bitch! Fuck that bitch! That's all I can say. Like you remind me of somebody. I'm like who do I remind you of? Like. Elmer Fudd. Just like, oh, fuck you.
Fuck you. I look totally like Bugs Bunny.
Not even. I take Bugs Bunny over Elmer Fudd, trust me. No, I forgot about that up until now.
I guess the key thing with you, like for me, I can't wear a bowler's cap. Whatever you do, don't shave your head and wear like hunting
clothes. Don't shave my head and like wear a fucking hunting hat and walk around town with a shotgun. No, for a little while I was getting like. You look like Jessie Eisenberg. I'm just like, what?
Better than Elmer Fudd, but yeah.
Yeah, no, I would get that every so often. Or every time I would go into like this, to this local gas station called The Outpost. Every fucking time, this guy like, you remind me of Jessie Eisenberg, the guy behind the.
You remind me of that nerd in that movie. What was that again?
Social Network. You know it is. He must be your fucking idol. You really him? You know.
Give me your fucking autograph. The gas is on me. Oh, okay, well I'll play it off of that.
If I just have to pretend to be Jessie Eisenberg to get free gas. I'd kill my pride for that much, and just till the one day I go in there, and like I bump into somebody I know, like it's Jessie Eisenberg. Like someone's like Ray Bob. That's not Jessie Eisenberg. Like. How do you know? Like, I went to high school with him. You went to high school with Jessie Eisenberg? Like, no, the guy's name is Ryan. Like, what? No. This guy
give
was,
me my gun.
This guy wasn't in Zombie. Were you in Zombieland?
Yes?
Yes?
He's a liar.
Yeah. So, yeah.
I've given this guy $1,000 worth of gas and drinks and food.
Because I thought he was my idol, Jessie Eisenberg, but... Once again, my heart is broken. This is just like that boy I thought was Jason Biggs.
He's like, God, Dad, I went to the school with that guy too.
Yeah. I know. I should have put this together sooner.
Stop giving out free gas.
There was literally a guy I went to high school with that looked just like Jason.
Oh my
Biggs.
god! Yeah, I remember when I first saw it, I was like, oh holy fuck, dude, we're going to school of Jason. It's like American Pie.
That guy got so many pie fucking jokes. I mean, he was almost trying. He was like the anti like Jim, because he was like in good shape. He was a football player, but face looked just
Identical.
like Jason
Hair
Biggs.
identical.
And he was trying so hard to work that off. And I remember just being in the locker room. Because, I mean, he was like a few grades ahead of me.
Well, and that's probably the worst, too, since he was a couple grades ahead. He was like totally like the American Pie generation where everybody fucking saw that.
Yeah, so everyone thought like, so that guy would get so many like pie fucking jokes.
I mean, this guy was beyond like looking like a stunt double. Like, he fucking was a stand-in, like a forward-facing stand-in.
Well, he could have been like, I mean, I'm just saying, because the guy was in good shape. He was like a quarterback, I think. He could have been like the action version of Jason Biggs. They needed Jason Biggs in an action role.
He needed to be the stunt double for all the action scenes.
Yeah. But anyway,
And I used to get David Spade a lot. Everybody used to always think I looked like David Spade.
trim the beard and trim the beard. I can possibly see trim the beard, make the hair a little shorter. I can kind of see that. I don't really. The voice is kind of what.
I don't. Yeah, because that's like the key thing about David Spade. He has that unique voice.
I don't really see David's. I never thought of that. One you would get a lot because you
got that a lot. When I was in Vegas too, somebody's like, "Oh my God, it's fucking David Spade." Oh wait, it's not.
Well, I remember back when you had like your beard was a little different and you would wear aviator sunglasses a lot and a bandana and like a jean jacket. People would always say you look like Axl Rose. Yeah, it was more part of the costume.
I got Axl Rose at first, and then like when my hair was blonde, I got like Bret Michaels. I'd have people like fucking drive by the street. It's fucking Bret Michaels. You're like, thanks.
You fucking get all like these 80s like rock star gods. I get like fucking Elmer Fudd and Jessie Eisenberg.
Do you ever get Michael Cera?
I got like you sound like Michael Cera, which is we get Jessie
That's
Eisenberg.
like almost worse. I really like almost look like Michael Cera than sound like. Do I really sound like Michael Cera? Oh. You're very unsure of yourself.
I don't know. Now you mentioned, I'm just like I sound like Michael Cera. I woke up this morning. I thought it sounded like Jessie Eisenberg, but it sounded like Michael Cera.
Michael Cera?
No.
It's a question.
I might kill myself when I go home after recording this shit. No, but
what you strive for in life, you'd be like, hey, you look like George Clooney. You're like, damn right.
That'll be a good thing to go. Yeah. I don't even need like George Clooney. I mean, that just.
You look like Bob Hoskins. Okay, I'll go with that.
Jesse Eisenberg's a step up from Michael Cera or Elmer Fudd, but I haven't gotten in a while. I don't know. I haven't gotten really a whole lot of anything lately. So one time someone told me I said like a coworker told me I looked like Screech from fucking like Saved by the Bell. I was like, fuck you, dude. Fuck you.
That is fucking hilarious. I don't know.
I should not be saying this all on fucking record right now.
The one I would just, it's like, I strive just to not get the Kid Rock one. That's the only downfall too, is like, you want to have a cool like beard or something like that. Next thing you know, you fucking look like Kid Rock again. It doesn't take much to look like Kid Rock for me.
And now it's one of those things you can't really,
I don't even have to try. I just like somehow, some way wear the wrong outfit one day and...
In this day and age, it seems kind of like you can't really... I mean, it depends on the person, how judgmental the people are and all that, but it seems like you can't really get a mustache or a beard without being kind of like judged about it. Kind of like, oh, this guy's trying to be a hipster, or this guy's trying to be all like indie rock about it.
Is like when I had my beard going, like my full beard, it was like people would... Duck Dynasty. And it was just like, fuck you, I'm fucking shaving this off. Fuck that. No more beard.
You got kind of like a Stalin beard going on. You just got this, not Stalin, am I saying? You got a Lenin beard going on. You got this little like stub that just comes out and stops, you know?
I know, I was just gonna let him like, well, I'll just get this goatee going long. I was watching like the Pantera videos. I'm like, Dimebag had a good beard.
There you go.
I'll go with
it's
that.
Honor and Dimebag.
Yeah. But yeah, remember, that was like, it was one of the ones I had the full beard. It was like, damn it. Now you can't wear a full beard around, you know? Now, because the thing too is now you gotta wait till Duck Dynasty goes away. It's sort of like Kid Rock. I keep waiting. It's like, I'm like, you know,
well, I think Kid Rock's
I'm like, who remembers Kid Rock anymore? And it's just like,
this town.
Rednecks always remember Kid Rock. He's still just as popular as ever. And it's like, of course. Because all the people that ever tell me they look like Kid Rock, they say it like, oh my god, you look like Kid Rock. That's so fucking awesome. Like, it's never like, dude, you look like fucking Kid Rock. They're always like more like they're excited.
On the bright side, I guess it's like, that looks awesome. You look like Kid Rock. There is no, you look like Elmer Fudd. That is fucking awesome.
Kid Rock, no matter what, it's not like Kid Rock's a bad looking guy. That's the one thing you can say. You can point that out. You may not agree with his music, or his music's kind of funny, but it's funny because it's always like, America.
Just one of my favorite commercials of all time.
Was that NASCAR and like It was the NASCAR National Guard one in one.
It was like it wasn't National Guard. I believe it was the Army. I think it was the Army, and then like to help sell it, it's like they call me warrior, and they're showing a bunch of people doing like Army guys doing Army shit, and then on top of it, they just showed like him
NASCAR.
rocking out, then NASCAR, and just like this is what America's all about. The only thing we forgot was hot dogs.
And Doji.
But there was like some facial hair is kind of ruined for me, because when I first saw like young people with the handlebar mustache, at first I'm like, or not, well, I don't know, I get confused.
You mean not handlebar, you mean like the fucking like
shopkeeper
one?
Yeah, like let's go like 1920s like shopkeeper. Let's go with that. I mean, I get those mixed
The handlebar would be like Hulk Hogan or something.
Yeah. The curly mustache. Every so often, when I first see those, I was like, oh, cool. Now I see him so often, it's kind of like, it's fucking killing it. And now it's like, you need to live a full fucking life. You need to be like 45 or older to have that fucking mustache right there, because now it just seems kind of, because before it's like, you never saw that, but now you see it so much just out of fucking irony. It just annoys. And now it sounds like a dumb thing to get irritated at, but now whenever I see like some 20-something, they're look at my fucking mustache. It
ruins it, like, you know, because it's like one of the ones like when I was watching Wyatt Earp and Tombstone a while back,
Mm-hmm.
I was like, dude, I want a fucking mustache like that, because that's mostly what happens. I watch TV,
You watch TV
and then
and
I want
tells
to
you
idolize whatever I was just watching, and that's how like I choose my beard and mustache design for the week. Because it doesn't take much, and I'm like, that'd be badass to have that. I'm like, you can realize it like.
You go through like a Miami Vice phase. You're just like walking
Don
around like
Johnson. I love the Don Johnson one.
You go through like a Magnum PI phase or something.
I think you just gotta be older to have that thick mustache, though. I think that comes with age.
What if
the thick mustache, because you know it's like a lot of people's dads always have thick mustaches, but you never see I've never seen like somebody under 30 have a really thick mustache.
So when I see that though, when I see some like fucking like 20-something with a little curly thing, I know it shouldn't bother me, but because it's just like that's what the guy wants, but. It just fucking irritates me when I see that. I have no real logical explanation as of why.
It's like you're not doing it because your great grandfather had one. You're doing it because you're a douche.
I think it's kind of like one of those things like, okay, you have 45 or like, you know, just full, just a long life. And that's not a full life, but a long life.
You can earn that fucking mustache.
Earn it. Unless you fucking, like, traveled the Oregon Trail, had like 8 of your 10 children die of fucking tuberculosis just to open a general store in a town that barely gets anybody coming by.
Yeah.
And you had and your wife died along the way or some shit.
And you ate her?
Yeah, then then you deserve that mustache. Good for you. Good for you. If that's not the case, wait till you're fucking older to earn it, you know?
Yeah, I don't know, there's something about, I guess because like the thing is, it doesn't look cool, because you look at him and you're like, it's a fucking hipster, and you just want to punch him. It's like when I see a hipster, it just makes me angry, you know?
I met some, I mean, I'll say this, some hipsters I know, well, I don't know that many hipsters, but some I know are actually cool, nice people. But then there is just the stereotypical hipster, which is just douchey, that really don't respect a whole lot of things.
They
just
kind of like smarter than everybody, and they think they're better than everybody. And...
There's some people that they just like weird things, and they like they just like the hipster culture. They just like that, and I understand that. It's just when they're fucking dicks and condescending about it.
Yeah.
And we don't get a whole lot of that here. We do have hipsters in this town. We don't get a whole lot of that here. I think it's primarily because they know they're outnumbered, but
because we all go back to like what happened to the punk rockers.
Yeah.
Whenever there's change, the cowboy church steps up.
Yeah, the cowboy church locked them all in there.
We keep change from not happening.
Cowboy church.
Where change is just a word in a dictionary that you don't own.
It's just like fucking blacked out, you know. No, but going back to Jessie Eisenberg for a second, we never talked about this on the podcast. Lex Luthor, Jessie Eisenberg.
Oh, they had an idea of getting him for a little bit.
It's not a little bit. Apparently, it's happening.
They really want him to do it.
Apparently,
it's one of the ones like, okay, Jessie Eisenberg he's one of those kind of guys. He did prove himself as a better actor to me from like the movies I saw as they came out. You know, sort of like Michael Cera. You know, I never liked Michael Cera at first. And then, you know, in Scott Pilgrim, I'm like, he did 110%. Is he Scott Pilgrim? No. He never will be. There's no possible way. He just doesn't, he's just not that type of person. But I accept him. And he did a good, you know, he put all the effort he possibly could put into it. Jesse Eisenberg's the same thing, too. He's one of those kind of guys, you know, I saw him in Zombieland, and I was all, he's just copying Michael Cera. And if there's one person out there you don't necessarily want to copy, which probably wasn't his fault, probably producer said, fucking be like Michael Cera. You look fucking just like him.
Mm-hmm. Zombieland remade it up to me a little bit, but yeah.
Well, Zombieland was the first one I ever saw him in, and I just remember it was just like he was just a ripoff of Michael Cera. And then we saw him like in 30 minutes or less, and I was like, okay, good, he's doing his own thing. I'm glad to see him doing that. And then even The Social Network too. It's like he kept stepping up, so he got better as he went on. But Lex Luthor, come on, fucking Lex Luthor. He not only is he the world's smartest man, he's supposed to be the guy who's in like the peak physical condition of a regular man. He's like he really is just the alternate Batman.
Here's the thing.
He's like he's pretty much just Bruce Wayne was just a superhero in himself or a supervillain in himself, and there was no Batman. That's what Lex Luthor is.
Here's what I'm thinking right here. Okay.
Unless we're gonna get a bunch of steroids in the fucking Jessie Eisenberg.
Yeah.
I don't
and
want
change his voice.
Yeah, hopefully. Whatever Stallone has been doing for the last years, we got to get that going so he gets this really deep voice.
just like have like Jessie Eisenberg as Lex Luthor, voiced by Sylvester Stallone.
Just like dubbed.
That'd be amazing. Maybe it wouldn't be all that like really good. You couldn't take the movie that seriously. That'd be probably fucking amazing.
Awesome.
Well, here I want to say before we jump into Jessie Eisenberg, I want to say this. Every so often, and here's what I thought at first, because every so often, when they're a little nervous about who they're gonna say, we're getting this guy. They'll say like a couple names, like we're thinking about getting this guy over here, and people are like, what the fuck? So by the time they actually come out with who they're really getting, it doesn't seem as bad. Like, oh, thank God. One name they're throwing out there. This might be a little. This is a name they're playing with. I'm not sure, it was just totally rumored. They were saying Denzel Washington. Now here's the thing. Denzel Washington, my first choice.
Oh, he's the best actor. If anybody could play a white man, Denzel Washington can play a white man.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. Denzel Washington, my first choice for Lex Luthor. No, but Jessie Eisenberg, Jessie Eisenberg or Denzel Washington. Denzel Washington, hands down, because he is so fucking commanding. He is so likable. He is like, it's just one of those things. Like, look, I know that there's probably a bunch of people you could probably pick before Denzel Washington, but he's such a good actor. It's not one of those things like, here we go, they're making all the characters black. It's not that. I believe in just staying like, whatever the character's original race is, I believe in sticking to that for the most part.
That's how I feel too. It's just because like that's the way the fucking comic gods chose it. Keep it that way.
Every so often, I think that there's a character that's not as known or is not people aren't as aware of as much. So I think it's okay.
Like here's one it didn't bother me too much. Because it's like most of these actors too. It's like I always like the actor so much. It's nothing against the actor or anything like that. It's just I always look and kind of go like, you're just putting it in there just to throw a black character in there. That's the only reason you did it. It's like I always feel like it's not necessarily chosen other than that. But Kingpin and Daredevil, Michael Clark Duncan, that worked. I was like that works. You know what I mean? Like, you know, if I had made the movie, I would just stick it to like classic style. But that worked. You know, I was totally fine with that. You know, I mean, even in like the Superman, like okay. Perry White, it's like, well, him being Morpheus, it works. I think the only thing that bothers me in that one is I just don't like how fucking like
Amy Adams is a redhead. Lois Lane is a redhead.
Amy Adams bothered me a lot, and it's like she's a great actress. She's just not Lois Lane. I'm sorry, she'll never be Lois Lane, no matter how hard she tries, unless she wants to dye her fucking hair.
That's the only thing. Just dye your hair. It's like Amy, like the only like that. But Perry White did not bother me at all. Ironically, it's just Amy Adams, just dye your fucking hair. That's the only thing.
Well, the one that bothered me the most, though, actually even more, was the fucking taking Jimmy Olsen out, though, and putting Jenny Olsen, like, one, you get rid of, like, an Irish character. There's not enough Irish characters in movies anymore. We don't get enough of that. So you take away what the Irish people have as one of their main held-up characters. It's fucking Jimmy Olsen and Boondock Saints. And Marty McFly.
Jimmy Olsen, Boondock Saints.
You take that fucking away from the Irish people. And then you put in like, and then you put like an Indian person in there too, which is like, we all know Irish people sometimes get racist too, so it's just
like we all have this leprechaun that no one else can see, screaming at us to yell racial obscenities out loud wherever we go. We just have to choose to ignore it the whole time.
I'm just so surprised though. Yeah, it's just like, just yelling in your ear like, say it, we know you want to say it.
Like, say it, I know you want to say it. Like, no, I don't. We all have it. We just fight it. No.
It's not racist, it's just fun. I'm a leprechaun. Do I say anything racist? No, I'm just fun and crazy. I have kids that chase me all day long. You'd get like this too. But
actually, I'm gonna come back to leprechauns in a little while, but okay.
But it's just one of those ones like I remember the Jenny Olsen thing. I just look at that the whole time. I'm just like, what the fuck? What the fuck? Jenny Olsen is not Superman's pal. Fuck Jenny Olsen. I want my fucking Jimmy in there.
Unless the next one, she comes in like, hey, I got a sex change. My name's Jimmy now. I also wearing this red wig.
I also got a race change.
What if they got like, what if she came in and she's just kind of like, she had just like a red wig and she had like, she talked in a deeper voice and she had like this kind of like 14-year-old's like red mustache slowly like coming in and no one really interested. Like, yeah, I got a sex change. His name's Jimmy now.
It's like that just, and it's like funny. Like I never heard anybody else complain about that. Nobody even fucking mentioned that.
I think a lot of people weren't aware.
Well, I think a lot of people like. What's this one?
Oh, Jimmy's not there yet. This chick must be his.
Well, I didn't realize it took like the first time I was watching it. I didn't. The name didn't cross. I just was like, that must just be some new chick. That was the only thing I saw. I was just like, it is so fucking out of left field that it's got to be like a new character. Mm-hmm. Like they'll just bring Jimmy Olsen in later.
Yeah.
You know, and then I was just like, once like, oh, that they replaced fucking Jimmy Olsen.
Who knows? Maybe he'll come back. Maybe she's like a second removed cousin.
I guess it's like a double whammy. It's like not only do you take away the race of the character, you also take away it's like you change it from like a male to a female. It's just like that's too much change. You know these. There's a reason that like there's this kind of classic like triangle of Superman characters. You know what I mean? You don't want to fucking mess with that because it's more than a triangle because there's more characters. It's like a pentagon of classic Superman characters. You know, you got fucking Jimmy Olsen, Lois Lane. You know, Clark Kent, Superman. At least they didn't fucking change him.
Mm-hmm. No Spit Curl, but whatever.
You know, well, yeah, no Spit Curl. But Dean Cain didn't have the fucking Spit Curl either. Or no, did he? No, he did because his hair was combed straight back.
Oh, okay.
So, the Spit Curl's been gone in previous incarnations.
Everybody's favorite Superman, Dean Cain.
You know, I actually like Dean Cain. Like, I like Dean Cain and Terry Hatcher a lot. I just think that, like, put him in a full-on movie. I mean, I know this is also, like, talking 20 years ago. But, like, put him in a full-on fucking Superman movie with, like, all the Superman elements in it. I think they'd be amazing. I think they were two really good choice actors and actresses. And then Lex Luthor. That's the other one. Don't fucking change my Lex Luthor on me. But then again...
I'd rather have Denzel Washington Heartbeat.
Exactly. Because you know what? Denzel Washington could act as an evil white man.
Well, even as I heard that, even when I heard that, I wasn't kind of like, you're doing what? Not my first choice, but if any other race could pull it off, fucking Denzel Washington.
You know what's the weird thing, though?
But
a lot of people, though, I've heard, thought that Lex Luthor was black because the way he looks on the Superman the Animated Series.
Really?
Because on the Superman...
He looks kind of tan.
He's tan, but so is Clark Kent looks like he fucking sits underneath the sun every day, too, but...
That's where he does get his powers.
Yeah, so he goes out suntans. But also it's because, you know why?
Why?
Because Lex Luthor's drawn with lips in the show.
Oh.
No, but I know that sounds kind of weird, though.
That's what a lot of people think, though.
But, you know, like, think about it. Mostly that, like, when you draw cartoons, it's all just a handful of lines.
Yeah.
So to distinguish him a little bit more, that's why there's lips. Mm-hmm. You know, so that's why a lot of people I've heard that, you know, he's got a shaved head. He looks kind of like The Rock.
He does look kind of like The Rock.
Yeah, so I know some people, they think he's just, like, part black.
Well, as far as, like, the whole thing go back
to... In the comics, he's very white.
Yeah. I could see that. I never really thought of that before, but...
I didn't either, but it was just pointed out to me for somebody else. Because I kind of went like, can't tell that's fucking... He's white?
Yeah. I guess because I went in knowing who Lex Luthor was right off the bat.
Yeah, I think that's too. It's just like... So I didn't even notice those things.
Well, as far as like Jessie Eisenberg, here's the thing. It's kind of like people were saying like, well, look how he is in Social Network. He kind of goes in the room. He's the smartest guy there. He can kind of command a room in that movie. My opinion right there is like, no, he really wanted to just punch him out in that fucking movie. I mean, not him personally, because he's a good actor. It's his character you wanted to knock the fuck out. And I'm not trying to talk shit on Jessie Eisenberg. I just think, I mean, he's given a huge fucking chance. I understand why he took it. Mm-hmm. But on top of that, though, it is one of those things like, I mean, trust me, I don't want him to do bad. I want him to do good. I want to be proven wrong. Mm-hmm. I really do. It's one of those...
Like, how fucking old is Jessie Eisenberg, too?
I just see him
like 26 or something like that.
Because I see Lex Luthor being one of two things. I see him being in the guy, he walks in the room, I see him one of these two versions. He walks in the room, and he's so charming, but he still has a very commanding personality. You kind of go, what's Superman's problem? Why does he dislike this guy? I don't get it. Mm-hmm. But the second, he gets a dark side, he gets very murderous, he gets very scary. The other Lex Luthor I see is kind of like a little bit of Gene Hackman, a little bit of Grant Morrison Superman, where he's kind of like a mad scientist, and he is a condescending dick, but he's in peak physical condition, and he could probably, maybe not kick Superman's ass, but a normal person's ass.
Yeah.
And at the same time, just be so smart. Like, just that part, just in All-Star Superman, when he's working out, and he's having the interview, and he says, "You're writing in code? Let me see that." I'll decrypt it in under a minute. Time me. He's like, it's shorthand. He's like, what kind of adaptation is that for a man? Just chucks it over his shoulder and walks out the room. Like, that right there is like.
Well, I like my Lex Luthor who's he's always doing 3 things at the same time. It's just like he's that kind of guy. He's just always he's solving a problem, he's working out, and he's like creating something all at the same time. Like he's just an extreme genius. But to top it off, his body's in physical peak. Everything about him he's really the perfect man when it gets down to it. That's who Lex Luthor is to me.
And it's not so much I don't think Jesse Eisenberg can like get buff or make him. Like,
My fear. It is gonna it's gonna be another fucking Venom incident. Just like in Spider-Man 3, where, don't get me wrong, Eric Foreman was great in that 70s show. He is not fucking Venom. He will never be Venom.
I'm not defending it, but I guess you could use the argument. Well, they're trying to make it like Ultimate Venom, because he wasn't a big buff guy in that. But still, I prefer my traditional Eddie Brock.
Yeah. And, and Eddie Brock, it's like, the whole point of Eddie Brock is that he was a guy who was pissed off at life, so he'd go home and work out. That's that's really like his origin story. Because I don't, there's not always too much more, but it's more like fucking Peter Parker got me on my fucking job. I'm working out.
And for me, it was one of those things like Venom. Like, I didn't even really like Eddie Brock. I liked Venom. Venom's kind of what made me like him. So
Eddie Brock's just kind of he's one of those kind of guys who like tries to cheat to get ahead in life, and then when it doesn't work out, he takes it out on the people. But Venom is just such a cool character because it's Eddie Brock fused with the alien. So
yeah.
But it's one of those ones like that bothered me in Spider-Man, and that's my fear is that it's going to be that same thing because we live in this age now where people generally don't like bodybuilders anymore. People generally they like it's the nerdy people are always popular. It's all this kind of stuff, and it's like. I mean, at least they've never tampered with our Superman. At least we get a buff Superman still. I
mean, I want to be wrong. I want Jesse Eisenberg to prove me wrong. I want him to be awesome, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, it's just that scares me. I rather would have had it been fucking what's his name? I know that was just I didn't think that was ever gonna happen, but Walt from Breaking Bad.
Bryan Cranston.
Bryan Cranston. I mean,
he seems a little too old.
He's still a little too old, I thought, but
he has a commanding performance. He is kind of scary.
If you look at the Superman movie, it's like LexCorp's already been there for so long, so it makes sense that he'd be older. Like, I just think Jesse Eisenberg's too young. That's the thing, though. He's gonna be what 26, and like, how the fuck is LexCorp going? Like, if he's like 20, I mean, obviously, it could come from his dad. They could work a new story in there. I don't know. It's like I hopefully hope that they do this thing. It's like okay, just kind of sell Superman like Superman just needs to be sold. You know what I mean? Like, I know that like. Even though I love Man of Steel, it does feel that they are just trying to do so many different things in it. When it's just like, I always feel like, you could change some things, but, keep good things.
Well, it's a handful of small things that equal out to big things.
Well, yeah.
It's like the hair color and like Lawrence Fishburne is Perry White. That doesn't bother me at all because...
But it adds up into you could put it in the bag of like things that they changed.
I just think when it's a big character, like, when it's... I'd rather have, like... Alright, this is going to sound weird right here. I think Denzel... is going to sound so weird. Denzel Washington playing Lex Luthor doesn't bother me nearly as much as Lois Lane's red hair. It sounds weird, but...
I agree there. And it doesn't... Yeah, it definitely doesn't
because I know Denzel Washington's good enough. He can do it.
Well, see, the thing is, I can believe Denzel Washington can be Lex Luthor, though. Like, because Denzel Washington, he's in good shape. Denzel Washington's smart. He's already... You can sell me off that Denzel Washington could be doing 3 things at once.
There is actually...
It's Denzel Washington. He's a super actor.
There is actually... Spill.com, went under a little bit ago, but Corey Coleman and Martin from Spill, they went and started their new podcast, and I was listening to that a little bit ago. And they're 2 black guys, and they were talking about this, and they said, I laughed so hard on this. He says, I actually want Denzel... They were talking when Denzel Washington might. It was before Jesse Eisenberg for sure. It was like Denzel Washington might. And they're saying, I actually want... I want it to be Denzel Washington just for this reason and this reason alone. I want Clark Kent to walk in a room, and I want Denzel Washington to say, Clark Kent, my nigga, get over here. He says, they're not going to do that, but, those guys are right. I kind of agree with them. For that reason alone, I want that.
It.
Yeah, but I know it's not going to happen in the PG-13 superhero movie.
I know. Yeah, if there's anything else, it could happen. Not necessarily, it doesn't be PG-13, because, look at fucking Malcolm X.
Yeah, that's a pretty good podcast. I like listening to those guys. A little behind on that one. But just advertising someone else's podcast in our show. No, but actually, since we actually watched it right before the podcast started, I know where we are on time, but Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh, the Guardians of the Galaxy trailer?
Yeah.
That actually, when you first explained it to me, you're like, there's a lot of comedy in it, and I was like, fucking Marvel Studios again. And I was like, okay, I'll watch. And then I watched it, and I was like, okay, not as much comedy as I thought, and it actually looked really cool.
Well, the thing about it is, I had never read Guardians of the Galaxy, and I can't go in there with this, they're changing the integrity of it, but like, I don't really know anything about it other than there's a raccoon, there's a tree, and they're in space.
Yeah.
Beyond that, I know nothing about it. And seeing the trailer looks funny. I mean, it wasn't like jam-packed with humor, but like, the weird thing is though, they're using like Blue Swedes hooked on a feeling. And it's just so, like, sounds so weird, but it works.
It almost fits perfect, though. Like, you look at it, you're like, when you explain it to me, I'm like, that's fucking weird. But then again, I guess that's the same way, like, if Reservoir Dogs, if Quentin Tarantino was explaining that to you, you'd be like, the fuck? You want to put that in the movie? Well, the thing and then, like, when you see it, you're like, oh, it totally works.
Well, because in the trailer, and there's no way, because I was explaining to you, because when it gets down to, like, when you're, like, explaining a movie trailer, there's no way you can sound like, you can't avoid but help sound like an 8-year-old kid. And then the Hooga Chaka comes in, and then there's a raccoon. He's shooting a gun. There's explosions, and then there's no way around it.
Yeah, it's hard to describe a trailer to somebody. I think there's just not enough story or anything in a trailer, so you're really just describing certain scenes over and over again.
That only appear for like a second.
Yeah.
No, because the trailer, it shows like, it's doing like the usual suspects thing, kind of like showing like them in a lineup, and they're given all like the things, their response, all their like crimes and all that. Then they start playing because like Star-Lord goes up to like they're going through his stuff, and he has like an old cassette player, and one of the aliens is listening to his old cassette player. He's like, "That's mine." He goes up to it. The guy you hear on the cassette player, he's playing "Hooked on a Feeling." As soon as he gets whacked, the song starts to pick up, and it's the Hooga Chaka. They have heavy emphasis on the drums, but it sounds weird, but it actually looks pretty cool the way they did it.
Fits, and then they start showing all the space battles and action and guns blazing and everything like that.
And it's being front forward. It's not like jam packed with too much comedy, but it is blatantly saying
it looks like
it's not hiding.
It's like in the Iron Man thing. It's not like Iron Man 3 where it lied to you in the trailer saying this was going to be a really serious movie, and then it turned out to be nothing like that. Mm-hmm. This one looks like it's kind of like, okay, there is going to be action comedy, so
it's just being front forward about it.
Yeah, so it's kind of like to be expected.
Which I guess I guess they're looking at how else can we market this? Market a movie about a raccoon
to mom and pop in Oklahoma.
Yeah,
I feel like that's the reason they can't take some of these things serious, is because they're like, well, regular people can't take comics serious. They just think they're like, laughs and pows and bangs. So just give that to them.
I think it's kind of like if we show there's wit and some humor in it, then it almost kind of lowers their defenses. Like, that's likable. I'm getting this. I mean, I don't always agree with that, but
if you put comedy into something, it takes it so it doesn't seem too serious. Because if you make something too serious, people that are like not into it go, this is fucking nerd. This is fucking Star Trek all over again. You know what I mean? Because Star Trek's always saying, like, you watch the old Star Trek movies, they're very serious. Obviously, no matter what, there's always going to be a joke here and there. But they're pretty darn serious. And I think that's what always kind of kept people away from Star Trek.
I think that's what brought in
It's
J.J.
just
Abrams.
a little too serious. It's trying to be too real. Kind of be like, taking it serious, like, if, this was in the future, this is what it probably could be like, kind of.
And then
J.J. Abrams kind of brings in, like, brings in sort of like that sort of adventure-y fun, and then you slap a bit of humor in there just to break it up. Which, in that circumstance, that worked totally well. Now, something like Iron Man, it always just bothers me how much humor is in that.
Well, Iron Man 1 wasn't so bad. Iron Man 2...
Because that character just, at least in the olden days, never had humor. I know nowadays, everything's written with Iron Man having humor, because that's the popular thing for Iron Man to be now, is this character that's just saying one-liners, and every other word's a comedy line, but...
Iron Man 1, I think he was fine. Iron Man 2, I think they pushed it a little too much. Iron Man 2, there wasn't enough action or shit going on. Iron Man 3 was better than Iron Man 2. I liked it more the second time I saw it on DVD, and that was actually... I'd say Iron Man 3 is a good movie. It's not amazing, but it's good. I still think there is too much comedy in it, but has some really awesome ideas and parts in it. So I think that this one, though, looks like... At least you know what you're getting. You're not getting anything too serious. It's pretty straightforward. There is going to be comedy in it, and plus just the song choice. But ironically, it works.
It looks great in the trailer, though. I mean, it's a great-looking trailer. It looks like it's got good action, good adventure, good
John
characters.
C. Reilly's like one of the guys interrogating them.
Yeah, there's people I like in it. It's just... Hopefully it's not too comedy. That's my only thing. I just hope that, it still stays serious enough, and the jokes are only like real, like they're not just placed in jokes kind of thing.
Well, the Marvel Studios will say this, whether you like their movies or not, they're kind of smart about. They do get some big people, but they also get like people who they know the fans will like. For this movie, for instance, I mean, yeah, you got like Vin Diesel doing the voice of Groot, and you got Bradley Cooper doing the voice of Rocket Raccoon, and then you got John C. Reilly, who, you know, he's a big actor, but he also has a fan base on like Tim and Eric from going on there, you know, just a weird alternative actor, kind of like that.
Huh.
Also in some artsier stuff, like just some Darren Aronofsky things. Not Darren Aronofsky. Paul Thomas Anderson.
Well, he's in Boogie Nights and stuff.
He's in a lot of Paul Thomas Anderson stuff, and then there's also this is actually more of a fan thing, but like they kind of go out of their way, like getting Joss Whedon, for instance. But another person, what they're getting, I don't remember the girl. I think Karen Gillian. They're getting the girl that played Amy Pond in Doctor Who. Who that's kind of like when you reach for those people, I think you're really getting like a big fan basis out of that, right there.
Yeah, because you'll get all the people that watch Doctor Who and are obsessed with that, and they'll just see a movie just because of that.
And they'll get like a couple of big people like Zoe Saldana. She was the green chick in the movie, so you know.
So, you know what's another interesting thing? Will Ferrell was on the Tonight Show last night. Apparently, what they're gonna do for 1 week.
I heard about this. Yeah.
They're gonna do like the alternate cut of Anchorman 2.
Oh, I didn't know that. What I heard. Okay, go ahead. Yeah, finish what you said.
So for 1 week, I think starting February 28th. They're gonna put Anchorman back in theaters, the second one, and it's the same movie, but they said they shot so much hours of footage they almost have thought about making 2 movies out of it. So they're gonna put, you know, all these like alternate cuts because they got like another editor to do all this. So yeah, this complete thing in an extra 20 minutes thrown in there. There was apparently another musical number they cut out and things like that. So
I'd see it. I liked Anchorman 1 or Anchorman 2 1 enough.
So yeah, so it's like I'm like, well, that's a cool idea. You know, I don't think anybody's ever done that before in theaters, at least. I mean, we've seen it on DVD before, but
I'd be check that out. Like, no, there's another thing Will Ferrell was doing. He's doing with Chad Smith actually from the Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Oh yeah,
he was like
they look the same.
Yeah. They one of them acknowledged on Twitter how they look the same. And they got in that little bit of a Twitter conversation where they're ball busting each other for a while. And I guess I never saw Step Brothers. People always like, you never seen Step Brothers? I haven't seen it.
I have it over here. You can borrow it.
All right, I'll just to finally end that question.
It's pretty darn funny.
I believe it's funny. I just never got around to seeing it. But anyway, there's a part where Will Ferrell's playing drums and like Chad Smith was talking shit like on his drum ability from Step Brothers.
Wait, Will Ferrell doesn't play drums in Step Brothers.
Oh, he doesn't? Is it John C. Reilly or something?
Yeah, John C. Reilly plays drums. Will Ferrell sings.
Oh, okay. Well, whatever happens about that. They said like, well, how about this? We're gonna try and they said like we're gonna raise enough money, and if we can raise enough money, that's gonna go to like I think it's St. Jude's Hospital or something like that. Mm-hmm. If we can raise enough money, then we are gonna put on like Will Ferrell's like I challenge you. I'll play the triangle. You can play the drums, and we'll just have like a rock off. So
that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Huh. Interesting. But yeah, the Anchorman 2 things, that just seems like a pretty cool deal. I don't know if it'll come up here, though. I wonder if that will be a major release. I mean...
People up here love their Anchorman. It wouldn't surprise me.
I couldn't see why not. It might confuse the average Joe. Like, I already saw that movie. What is different? Like, you know, somebody's going to be confused. Mm-hmm. But I guess you got to start somewhere with that. Yeah. You know. But that's probably a good place to leave off at. Make sure to check out oldmanorange.com and send us an email at oldmanorangepodcast@yahoo.com. Until then, I'm Spencer Scott Holmes.
I'm Ryan Dunigan.
We will see you some other time.
Bye.